Dr. Dalamar.
Shalafi.
What is it?
Events are transpiring in the outside world, Shalafi, that demand your attention.
Indeed.
Lady Tressania.
What? Speak!
You should come, Shalafi. The live ones report.
Where?
Master.
Death.
I'm not sure, Caramon. I think that...
I've seen death enough. Believe me, she's dead. And it's all my fault. It's my fault.
Caramon, you imbecile. What happened? What went wrong?
Did you say something?
No,
Well,
it's just the wind.
what are you doing?
Digging a grave. Got to bury her.
Bury her? Oh, of course, you bumbling idiot. That's all you could think to do. Bury her. I must know what happened. What did you see?
They camp in trees, Master. Draco kill.
Draconians? Near Solace? Where did they come from?
To know. Caramon, you can't bury her. She's gonna...
Don't have a choice. I know it's not proper, but Paradon will see his soul's journey in peace. We don't dare build a funeral pyre, not with these dragons around.
But Caramon, I really think you should come look at her. There's not a mark on her body.
I don't want to look at her. She's dead. It's my fault. We'll bury her here. Then I'll go back to Solace. Go back to digging my own grave.
Caramon.
Go find some flowers and leave me be.
No mark. No wound. Draconians coming out of nowhere. Speak! Tell me everything. I must know. Why wasn't I summoned earlier?
The Draco killed my master, but the big man killed you. Then big dark eyes of fire. I scared. I'm afraid I fall in water.
I found the live ones lying at the edge of the pool. When one of the others said something strange was going on, I looked into the water, knowing of your interest of the human female. I thought you...
Quite right. So my sister betrayed me. I smell your fear, Kitiara, you coward. I could have made you queen of this world. I could have given you wealth immeasurable, power unlimited. But no, you are, after all, a weak and petty-minded worm. I will not forgive this, my dear sister. You are fortunate that I have more urgent, pressing matters at hand. Or you would be residing with the Phantom Lord who serves you.
Pre-recorded in a second-floor guest room filled with tall ales and taller tales. Join a group of grown men intent on discussing the intricacies of fantasy and science fiction. Tim Gilbert Media presents
Dungeons and Dweebs!
I think the battle axe got it right to the back of her heart.
Hello, all you fans of sinewy men dressed in scanty leather with their rock-hard abs glistening in the arena's sun. Wait, if that's what you're into, you better watch Spartacus on Stars, because this is the Dungeons and Dweebs podcast, episode 19, Dragonlance, Time of the Twins, Part 1. I'm your host, Bob. This morning I entered my Chamber of Seeing, and within its dark, swirling waters I ascertained the past. I saw vaporous tendrils of the gas station chalupa I ate for lunch, and the opaque, granular lengths of the Thai coconut curry beef I had for supper. Gulfunger spawned the fourth. But I'm not alone. Across the table from me, his dark Under Armour hoodie does little to mask his generous yet muscular body. And his scent is an intoxicating mixture of Victor and Rolf's Spice Bomb aftershave, lemon secrets, and the off-putting chalky aroma of stale milk of magnesia on his breath. It's Luke.
Oh my god. You forgot about my spell component.
I'm sorry.
Jeez.
It's so attractive. Oh my god, we are here. We're back. We're at Dragonlance.
The Summer of Lands 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
We're back. My voice is back. I feel so much better.
Oh, we're all feeling better. I love that we're back in the Lance universe.
Back
I've been
on
missing
Quinn.
this.
I actually,
Yeah.
I have two, guys. I missed it. I missed Dragonlance. I missed Fantasy. I'm happy to be back. But hey, let's kick this thing off. To my left, you know him. You kind of like him. It's Klab.
Hey kids, it's the middle of summer. July is winding its way down as we spin through the cosmos, and your old Uncle Klab has been doing nothing really productive. And it's everything I thought it could be. I've been spending most of my days sitting in the northern unit of the Mos Eisley Brewery. And guys, I found this great craft Naboo apple ale that you follow some limited batch Sand People cinnamon whiskey. Across the table from me, he's been experimenting with his love of Bollywood. We go together like Ramalama ding a dong. He's the Bedlam to my Deadpool, the half-orc captain of the guards to my reluctant king. Paul, how are you on this summer night?
I am fantastic, and do I have some Bollywood movies for you guys? I have been sitting down in the room just binging Bollywood movies. I'm ready for you guys.
Okay, do you have a recommendation? Where should people start
I
with
have
Bollywood?
absolutely no idea what I'm talking about.
Wait, so you're sitting here in the Dungeons and Dweebs recording studio talking about something you have no idea about?
Absolutely.
How dare you,
How
sir?
dare you?
No, I have seen 2 Bollywood movies my entire life.
That's two more
One
than
of them
me.
was really weird. The other was
more than
actually
me.
okay.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't even know where to go from there.
He's been telling us about how he's been hanging out in the big city with his Indian friends, going to Indian clubs, so I figured I'd throw it in there.
That was a solid year ago.
Hey, speaking of a year ago, we're coming up on our anniversary here.
There we
Yes,
go.
this is our anniversary. In fact, I would just call this our anniversary. We are back with Dragonlance.
Yeah, I guess by the time this comes out, it's sometime next week. Is the last week of July.
We released the last week of July, and so we're pretty much back on schedule. We're back with Dragonlance, and man, I can't wait to get stuff out on Facebook. Hear from a lot of the people we haven't heard from in a long time with the Dragonlance.
Actually, you know what? Did you see? We got a like from Kayla. Do you remember Kayla?
Yeah, I
from
remember
last-
Kayla. Kayla's back.
That came in the notification.
Hi, Kayla.
Yeah, and I won't lie. I think people are checking to see if we're back on Lance because our Facebook page is getting all these people have visited. They're all looking. When are they done with the sci-fi stuff?
Where's the episode?
Dark a shade of magic. I want to hear some Dragonlance.
I want to hear about Raceland.
We built you people. What are you doing?
Raceland's dark magic is the only dark magic I want to hear about.
This is Raceland never cut his upper arms. Blood magic.
Well, it's been about 2 years since we've seen him. We don't know what happened.
Let's stop talking about kids and goths and all this other crap.
Well, yeah. Well, and Raceland is sexy. I mean, he's thin. Underneath those robes, there's nothing but a gaunt gray frame, and it's just hot.
It's a gold frame.
No, it's gold.
It's golden.
gold.
Not always is it gold.
Well, yeah,
he's
but
changed.
It's like sexy jaundice.
Exactly.
Jaundice can be sexy. I'm waiting for Gold Bond or whatever, a Jergens to do like a Jaundice is beautiful ad campaign. I'll be driving into work. There'll be a giant billboard with a jaundiced woman and man standing on it.
I ain't saying she's a gold digger.
He
No,
smells
don't.
the smell of spices. He's spicy and components of magic, which I imagine are dead rats. I mean,
Well, and some women out there may dig, the extreme dad bod that Cameron has going on right now.
I actually think Raceland probably has the amount of allure that Ozzy Osbourne did back in 1977.
Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper, yes, definitely all of those things.
Wait, why don't we grab a round first before we dive back into Dragonlance?
All right.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I will get this one. Hey, guys, lady, honey, sweetheart, come here. Let's get a round of that Naboo Craft Ale off the tap there. It's a nitro, and let's get some of that Sand People cinnamon whiskey too, please.
I was in a relationship
I swear to you,
with
man.
the
The woman with the blue
Draconian
dragon, she brought me up to her room
Boy,
last
did
night.
she have good
Where's my
time.
corn purse?
Why don't you fellas follow me to my
plastic
couch?
Kender.
I'll show you how my glory is good.
What'll it be, boys?
Tavern talk.
All right, well, we're back. I've got my pottery mug filled with the latest spicy draconian brew because, yeah, I like them. They're strong. But here we are at the inn of the last home, sitting around the fire.
Luke, we said no dwarf spirits.
Come on.
No
One,
dwarf
you get
spirits.
one.
Oh, but I want him to start. I want him to start things on fire in here.
You know I always sing better on Dwarven Spirits.
Well, for those of you who are just have found us now, this is Tavern Talk, and we during this time we take about 20 minutes, half an hour. Tends to be half an hour to discuss whatever is going on in the nerd universe before we get to reviewing the book. So if you're like, I'm here for the book, where's the book here? Skip ahead about half an hour or something.
All of our
like that.
naysayers are from Brooklyn.
They're all Brooklyn. All of them are Brooklyn.
They're all like stereotypical Brooklyn Jews.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like I feel like if I was like at Ohio at some sort of Comic-Con, people would be like, you do that podcast. Yeah, it's all right, whatever. And then all of a sudden, if I was in Brooklyn, people would be little kids would chasing me down the street with bats. Hey, you that guy that doesn't like that Dragonlance novel?
Hey, we're gonna get you.
Hey, I tell you what, you mentioned the Hammer of Carrots one more time.
One more time, and I'm gonna hammer your foot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say this too many times. I'm not gonna say it too many times. But unless you start talking a little better, I'm gonna have to break your legs.
And this is how we have offended all of the Eastern Coast people.
Don't worry about it.
It's gonna snow pretty soon.
That's all right. We're gonna go for the Southerners and test the twins.
We'll get into this. Look, man, if you're wearing Crocs right now, you're gonna not be happy with me.
Okay, so Tavern Talk.
Okay, so Luke, what's going on in your nerd universe, buddy?
Well, you got a couple of things to catch up with from our last episode when I couldn't talk.
You were out of it.
Jeez, yeah, that was, the few words that I got out were the most difficult thing. I had to do that entire day. I started playing Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. That's the name of it. Yes. Super cool. Like, I mean, if you guys have played any of the Ocarina of Time for 64, it's kind of like you take those games and just add a little bit of Skyrim. Big, huge world to explore. You don't have to necessarily do anything in any specific order.
Hi, I was a huge Adventures of Link guy.
They brought a whole nother dimension to it. The third dimension. Yes. I'm really enjoying that. A lot of fun in that game. I know it's a little older, but I'm slow on video games. It takes me forever to get into something.
It's cheaper to buy them way later after the release date.
True.
There you go. That's always my excuse.
I did that. I'm gonna consider it nerd stuff. I went and saw The Incredibles 2.
Oh, right.
Actually,
Do you like it?
I did. It was a lot of fun. Packed theater. I was in the second row. Would not recommend sitting in the second row. But I don't know. I always love going to CGI animated movies. Just kind of check out the tech and see how everything looks because they can do some amazing things these days. Some with that movie, they had all these warnings on the outside, all these epilepsy warnings about hey, in the beginning of the movie, if you're epileptic, you might want to just wait or not look. I don't know what it was. I don't have epilepsy.
Right.
But we got about a half an hour in the movie, and I'm like, wait a minute, what were they? I'm like, is this so beautiful that the CGI is just tripping people up? And then it went into this fight inside of this strobe light room, and this is definitely what they're talking about. It was a good movie, I mean, I don't know. There's a couple parts that definitely made me feel old as all the children were laughing. And I'm like, that's not funny. Had that. I saw there's a movie coming out, Overlord. I showed you guys the trailer before.
Yeah, we all watched it.
Here. pretty much, I don't know, it just came up as a YouTube ad for me, and I'm like, oh, cool, World War II movie. And all of a sudden, zombies and stuff. I'm like,
zombies. Ooh, zombies, Nazis.
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, D-Day. J.J. Abrams doing something dark and gritty before getting back to Star Wars Episode 9.
J.J. Abrams, you sure you got time for this?
He put zombies in his mystery box.
Yeah, kind of. Jeez. Kind of like, it looked like a Wolfenstein the movie almost. I don't know.
That was immediately what I thought of when I saw World War II zombies. I was like, it's Wolfenstein. I like what.
Yes, and there'll be a scientist. No, there won't be a scientist. They'll be creating zombies, and we'll always wonder who created the zombies, but we won't know. He will leave that part of it in the mystery box.
My mystery box.
That's in the mystery box.
You can shove that mystery box. Anyway, that's about it for me.
Hey, just so you know, weird thing, now that you're talking J.J. Abrams, it was not for sure that he was going to do Episode 9 for Star Wars.
I didn't know that. Really?
And now he is. I mean, they brought him in to do it. And you know how they always have like a name for, like a code name for the Star Wars or whatever. When they're filming it, I can't remember what it was before.
Star Wars, please forgive us.
But as soon as he took it over, they renamed it to Trixie. So the working title for Star Wars Episode 9 is Trixie. That's not the title.
Trixie,
That'll
like
come out.
the stripper or what?
Yeah, I know.
That's
well,
immediately
with the IX being really big, like 9.
Hey.
You know, Trixie. Oh, that's a mysterious mystery box.
There we go. We're going in that mystery box again.
Oh, my lord. Anyway, that's all I got. Klab, what sort of nerdiness you got for me?
Truthfully, I wasn't lying in my intro. I have spent the last at least 2.5 weeks being incredibly non-productive.
I'm looking over his shoulder at his list. Yes.
I've been doing a lot. It's summertime, so I've been doing a lot of fishing. Like I mentioned numerous.
Hey, that's not nerd stuff.
Like I've mentioned numerous times, I have an 11-year-old, so we've been doing a lot of fishing, a lot of shooting guns, things like that, going through firearm safety. I tried to play, a buddy of mine, actually Neil, for those of you who know the show, Neil gave me a couple Japanese PS3 games that he has.
Oh boy!
And so I don't even Shadows of Something was the one that I played to like the first guy you fight, and then I'm like, no.
That good, huh?
The other one that I tried to play was it's ICO, whatever it happens.
Ico all day.
The kid with the horns.
Yeah, the kid with the horns.
I remember that game.
I played it for maybe a day, and it's just not my thing.
Pretty puzzle. Isn't it like a puzzle game?
It's
never played it.
It's a lot of wandering around, but you have to like. There's this girl that you're supposed to like get out of the castle and everything.
That's
and so you
right.
have to keep running back to her and like grabbing her hand because she won't automatically follow you.
I remember. I watched.
Then all of a sudden, like black things will come out of the wilderness as you're solving a puzzle on the other side of the room and drag her away, and you can't. And then you have to like The biggest thing that bugged me actually, I probably would have played it longer, but every time you had to do a restart. It wasn't the restart at the beginning of this scene. You restarted. The save points were always like 3 scenes previous. Right? So you had to go back through like 3 levels of the castle you've already gone through.
Dragging somebody along.
That was
with
back
you.
in back on G4 TV back when that was a thing.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, they had a show called X-Play that reviewed video games, and that one of their biggest criticisms of that game is like usually the what are those called? Where you got to lead somebody around. The escort missions are generally like everybody's least favorite part of any game. They're like,
and the entire game is escort.
Hey, you know that mechanic in the game that you hate? Well, here's an entire game based on it. Because I would totally agree. Escort missions are the worst.
Yeah. I could see the storyline. The storyline the storyline and the things of kidnapped children trying to escape and everything else. It was just not my bag. One of the things also, and this came out today.
As of recording.
Luke, you talked about Overlord. The one that I caught recently that I just have had to watch like 5 times today just to go, oh my God, DC, you're just throwing up on yourself. Was the trailer came out for the new DC Titans TV series.
Yep.
Oh, it's a TV series.
It's a TV series.
It's not a movie?
No,
I
it's a
figured it was a movie when you showed me
TV
that
series
trailer.
in the DC universe. Like I was trying to look up to even figure out where it was being played, and I couldn't. So it'll be you can buy it from DC essentially.
Ah, okay.
So it's going to be one of those. And truthfully,
like streaming services or something. Yeah.
So basically,
the trailer looks fan made. It looks like
it's not great. No.
It's not good. Yes, I understand that Teen Titans is not the cartoon show. I've read the real Teen Titans. The real Teen Titans is dark and brooding, and some horrible crap happens. But this just came, and maybe it's coming off of our last podcast and the last book we read. But it was just came across as so angsty for me.
Oh, way too. And
there's a whole line of the whole Robin swoops down and the guy's beating up these guys in an alley, and he swoops down and one of the guys looks up and goes, "Where's Batman?" And I was like, "F Batman." What?
Yeah.
They're going for the Marvel is the good universe, the goody universe, so we're going to go even darker.
We're going to go gritty.
But if you watch the trailer, that's all they have. Like, I think they have like a fight in a hallway and something on a roof.
Fighting in an alley.
The alley fight. It's like they seen a few fights and were like, "Here's a trailer, go."
Just watch that trailer. Is there any storyline coming out whatsoever?
And
besides angstiness?
Exactly.
Someone has darkness inside them.
Yeah.
Well, that
was what I got.
My mom says there's no such thing as monsters.
I've seen monsters.
And then they got the same music they use now for every one of these guys. I don't know who that artist is that's singing.
So
they are raking in the dough.
The kind of girly voice.
It looks like. And I understand that DC is doing this. They've had success.
They've got to separate themselves from Marvel.
They've had success with the CW shows, with Arrow and Flash and stuff like that. But that doesn't lend itself to an MA rating.
No.
And you have to be, you have to just kind of. It's like that kid. Or it's like that dude who's in the bar who's hitting on the girl, and you're sitting across the bar watching it, and you're going, "Hey, Luke, watch this. Look at how freaking hard he's trying."
It's true.
You're trying to flirt with your audience,
Yeah.
and you're the guy who's trying way too hard that you're coming across as a creep.
Yeah. There's a reason why most blockbusters come out as PG-13 because it's a sweet spot for getting as many viewers as you can. The only one who tried to thwart that was Deadpool, but there's a very specific reason
Yes,
why
Deadpool's a different character
is
to begin
doing
with.
it. Yeah. When you're doing an entire series of superheroes, doing this like going hard R, just because that to me is just like the comedian who gets up on stage and just does
Yo mama jokes.
now I don't know what to say because we're a clean podcast, but does
it's the group that
does sex jokes the entire time because that's universal and everybody will laugh at a toilet humor.
And it's hey, look at me, I'm edgy.
Yeah.
You're not Dice. You can't pull it off. Stop
I'm
it.
edgy.
Oh my god.
Paul, what have you been up to?
Similar to you, where it's summer, I am relaxing, trying not to do too much. Don't want
to be a teacher.
Don't want to be too much. Don't want to work too hard.
I
over
have
the
been
summer.
working at the Mos Eisley Cantina as well.
That's true. I, on the other hand, have not. I've just mostly been training, but I have been getting into The Witcher 3. I have decided to crack that game open and see what it shows me. It is a great. It is a really good game. It is just one of those. It's a great game, great story, and the choices you make can sometimes screw you over or screw a bunch of people over. It's great. Sometimes there's not a good choice to make, no matter what. People are gonna die, and I like that. It's a more realistic game, but
with magic.
With magic, I'm saying the choices versus the normal video game where it just says, you have the good choice, you have the bad choice. It's like, I don't know, somebody might die, good luck, and figure it out. I like that. It kind of gives you a, that sucks moment.
Yeah, nice.
What about you, Bob?
Well, Solo has put me on a kind of a Star Wars kick, in a way. I had never really watched, with Maul showing, a spoiler alert, but I don't know. Darth Maul showing up at the end of that movie. I had never watched any of the stuff. I'd watched Clone Wars, but not all of the seasons. Like season 5 and the last season I didn't see. But I had never watched Rebels, so I started watching Rebels just because I wanted to know.
Are you making it?
Nah, cartoons are not my bag. I am still watching this cartoon. I'm floored that Disney. It's fine that they wipe out the EU, but then saying that this stuff is canon. I mean, man, this stuff should not be canon. I mean, there's stuff that is really cool, and there's stuff that it's a cartoon, and it'd be like you're really into the Avengers, and then all of a sudden they're like everything that happened back in Tailspin. Remember that cartoon?
Or even Mighty Avengers. Mighty Avengers is the like
little
it's
kid
the
one.
it's the lower elementary school preschool Avengers cartoon.
Saying that is canon, it gets a little. It's ridiculous in some aspects. So I think my level of nerdiness with Star Wars has now gone away. Where I was like, when back in the 90s, I was reading every novel, dissecting every technical manual. If this is the direction we're going, I don't care to dissect any of this junk. I don't care about the connections. I don't care about the all of that stuff right now. So.
I have a question for you, Bob.
Yeah.
Just saying, putting aside J.J. Abrams for a minute.
Yes.
Putting aside J.J.
Put him
Abrams
in a mystery
and
box.
I'm gonna jump shows on you here, and I'm gonna jump universes, going to the Star Trek universe.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched the Star Trek cartoon series, which is
The old one from
it's essentially the last season.
Yeah.
That's canon in that universe.
Really?
Yes, that was always considered to be the next season of the TV show.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
And that's canon. That's a way, but they did it in a way that it worked.
Right.
It was still the characters. It was still the storyline. Everything was PG and it was a cartoon.
Right. And that's why it works more on an intellectual level because they're pretty deep cartoons. They're not. They don't really work on a kid level. That's probably why that was canceled too. Because it's pretty.
Well, yes.
It's pretty heavy stuff.
Yes, and that was done, I feel, correctly.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it kept it within the seriousness or the comedic, the dramedy, if you would, of that universe.
Right. And that's how all these cartoons have been too. Even Clone Wars, there are some where you're like, whoa, yeah, this could be canon. This is great. And then another one where Jar Jar's hanging off the end of a tank, drinking green juice. It's Kool-Aid. It's nuts. Like it's all over the universe. And I do know, I actually really like the guy who's in charge of both cartoons, Dave Filoni. Because he had to ride the line he was under Lucasfilm, George Lucas was working with him, and he was like an old school fan who would do cool things, and then George Lucas would be like, yeah, and in this, we want Greedo in there, and, all that, like, he'd shove things at Filoni and make him do it, reading between the lines, and I think Filoni should be given a movie. I'd like to see him direct a Star Wars movie, because I think his sensibilities, if he was allowed to do what he wanted, Dave Filoni would be the guy to do a Star Wars movie. But I don't know. But that's pretty much all I've been doing besides Dragonlance. Reading the movies, doing stuff with Dragonlance.
You guys ever Google George Lucas without a beard?
No.
That's
I
the
can't
stuff.
believe
That's the
I'm
stuff nightmares are made of.
There's a reason he wears that face. There's some people meant
It's
to
not
only
real.
have
Somebody
beards.
photoshopped it.
Oh, really?
Oh my god.
There are people who are meant to never shave. I think I've crossed that line. I'm never shaving again.
You just look so darn good with a beard.
Well, thank you. My wife says the same thing. It's never coming off.
To be fair, you also have one of those faces where it's the meme that goes up with the big bearded guy, and then he shaves and looks at the sink, looks back up, and there's a little kid there now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, if I shaved, I would look like a wad of Play-Doh with 2 marbles for eyes.
No, you just look like you're 12.
That's true. That is true.
Well, now that we've started talking about beards,
Yeah.
do you want to grab another round? Jump into Time of the
Hey,
Twins.
let's talk about
Let's
Time
do
of the
it.
Twins.
Let's talk about Time of the Twins. Hey,
And
dear,
not
come
the
over.
Jenner book.
Yeah, Jenner book. What, you didn't read the Jenner book?
Oh.
We got press.
Ooh, tell me more.
It's a DeLorean, isn't it?
Scales were always in my favor.
I might have driven a DeLorean here.
Aye, pull up a chair, friend.
All right, so here we are. We got our frothy mugs in hand, here to talk about Dragonlance: Time of the Twins.
Yes.
Book 1, a Volume 1. Boy, have I been waiting.
We're back there. I missed that. Boy, have I missed that.
I think I've said it every time.
Book 1.
Part 1 of Volume 1 of Book 1. Dragonlance: Time of the Twins, or... Did you say you read the Jenner one? Or are we talking about that?
Yeah, there's also one by Jenner, the Jenner girls.
Yes, the Jenner girls.
Time of the Twins.
The Jenner girls also wrote a book called The Time of the Twins. So if you're pulling it up on Amazon and you find a book by the Jenner girls about teen angst and how to randomly become a self-made millionaire when you're born into money,
Billionaire.
Doesn't matter. You were born. She was born into money.
no.
That's
know.
not the one we're reviewing.
Wait, it's not.
Oh, did you read the wrong one?
All right, guys. Here I was all ready to talk about that. I'm
really confused because you said you were really liking the book.
just don't worry about it. I was really impressed and I got a little emotional about it too.
You're totally a Kylie.
I mean, she's almost a billionaire, guys.
Are you donating to her to make sure she is a billionaire?
I've already given her all my money.
Okay, well, this is
All right, well, we're back. Paul no longer is on this podcast.
No, I told you to get out of here.
I don't want to talk about her. All right,
Let's end this, Bob, dude.
This bit is done.
Do you have a synopsis? Did you give it to the fourth chair again? What's happening?
Oh, I have much more than just a synopsis. Upon reading this, I have been watching Southern shows a lot lately, like Honey Boo Boo.
Trailer Park Boys?
Trailer Park Boys, here comes Honey Boo Boo.
That's not in Canada.
Doesn't matter. It's still a trailer park is a trailer park is a trailer park.
I really like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the beginning of this book just gripped me. We're talking about getting emotional in a book. I was so invested at the beginning of this book. I mean, we have Caramon, and he is downtrodden. And I feel like he was a soldier coming back from Vietnam, just not understood. And so I decided to do the plot synopsis in a song form.
Wait, where's that music coming from? How are you doing that?
Oh,
God.
Nothing says Caramon like bagpipes.
Oh, dear Lord.
My twin brother's name racing with the hourglass stare. The war of the lands made us heroes to fear. I came back home to solace and hung up my spear. My girl Tika runs the end of the last home fight, and everybody knows I drink too much shine. Now racing Major wanted God powers bad, seduced a high cleric with everything he had, jumping back in time to ages untold. Will we ever come back from this star of old? Now the king priest of Istar is a powerful man. To ask the gods for intercession is his misled plan. But race is gonna stop him, that's his final goal. Practiced arcane magic to gain total control. Came back in time, took Fist and Dantalus down. Set up shop, you gonna run this town. Chris and Uranda racing in the middle of the night. Couldn't stop a crime, the king priest wasn't right. You know he's just a man who can be bought and sold. Gonna bring the wrath of heaven down on his star of old. Train in the arena for the Istar game. Was just a busted wash-up slob anyway. I know racing, my brother's an evil came up with a brilliant plan. I'll escape from my captors, be swift and bold. Creep into the temple, cut my brother down cold. Now the anger of the gods put an asteroid in the air. People screaming cause they don't have a prayer. Can't stop my brother, we're doomed, yeah, don't you know? We'll never come back from his star of old. His star of old. His star of old. His star of old.
Well, that was something.
I'm actually kind of impressed, Bob.
Yeah,
to tell you
Well,
the truth.
thank you. Yes.
Did you like rock that out in the shower or something like that? Just screaming away?
Oh yeah, I started writing this in the shower with dreams, with visions. I'm hoping that the main body of people who like Dragonlance also drive around jacked up trucks, and so that they can just have this blaring with their arms hanging out the window, driving down a deserted gravel road with a Schmitz in one hand.
I have the vision when they describe Caramon and Tika's house, which we'll get to, where there's tools and stuff all over the yard.
It's a trailer house in a tree.
Now I just have the vision of the wagon without wheels on blocks.
Hey, Caramon, winter's coming. Are you gonna put that skirting around the bottom of the trailer?
So, anyways, we begin the book several years after the last set of Dragonlance.
And we open with like a little prologue, right?
One of the longest prologues I've ever read.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to bring it up right off the bat because I read the annotated versions of this.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it's got Weiss and Hickman doing their little things on the sides, right? And in the annotations, Margaret says, "Why is this a prologue and not a chapter?" She gets this question asked. Why is because it's long. It's very long, right? Mm-hmm. She says that this introduces us to two characters around which the rest of the story revolves. That's true.
That's true.
That's true, but does not contain info that you must have. She had a professor who said that not everyone will read a prologue. To which I say, who the blank doesn't read a prologue? Have you ever picked up a book and gone like, I'm not going to read this prologue, just start at chapter 1?
Didn't we do that with one of the Dragonlance novels?
That's
where
what
I think it was Luke who went, wait, there's a prologue?
Yeah, and that was actually I had missed it.
I'm sorry that I just ran you down.
No. That was because I missed it because there's so much. There's like maps in the beginning of the book, and I'm like,
what?
I just
how confusing can that be? Like, there was a map, it threw me off. I jumped to chapter 1.
I'm all.
I will say,
there was just a lot of stuff in the beginning. I'm like, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, chapter 1. Here we go.
To be fair,
it could be the acknowledgments. It could be like thank you to Xenu for giving me the inspiration to write this.
And I'd like to thank Dale for being patient with me while I was going through this process.
You know, I hate that part of the book. Like, really, because you don't know any of these people. I wish it'd at least tell you who these people are. You know. Yeah. You know, my dog's groomer, Jim, who suggested this from the book. Like, I don't know who these people are.
It's just a note to them. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's true.
But at any rate, the meeting.
The meeting. Hey, let's actually get into this book.
I will say, one thing I like, this is the only thing that has, like, a title along with the chapter, because they have to. Because it's just a prologue, so they have something there.
Right. Yes, so we're no longer doing that old Dragonlance thing that gives it away.
Yes, which was
spoiler-filled chapter.
I am really happy with this.
Yes. Yeah, chapter 1, everybody gets together and leaves on a mission.
I wonder what happens.
Yes, a meeting, departure.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Chapter 3, a fight in the mountains. Flint dies. Oh God.
You know, I have to say, starting this book again, I'm still not over Flint dying.
Was there an ache when we start? Well, we'll get to chapter
We'll get
one.
there,
We get
yes.
to chapter
We'll
one.
get there.
But we open in the library of Palinthos, and we meet Bertram as he nervously enters the study of Astinus.
Do you
of
remember
Palinthos.
Bertram from the other one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I was gonna say like I'm like I
don't-
feel like he was a guy.
I don't remember Bertram, but I remember
Astinus.
Like, Astinus.
Yeah,
I remember him.
he's Astinus's red shirt.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, Astinus is there. He's doing his thing, just continually.
And I do going back. I said this in the last book too. Last Dragonlance.
Right.
I love Astinus.
I really like
I
this
love.
character.
I love the scribe of the universe.
Right.
I think that's a really neat idea for a character.
I think there's a lot of mystery to him, and he's a great kind of focal point that kind of balances between the real world, if I can use that loosely, of Kryn, and then the God world. Like he's this weird kind of passage point in a way.
Well, and
Where when you're with him, you feel like you're in kind of a weird transition point between the worlds.
And see, I always felt like he was the balance between our world and Kryn.
Oh, I like that too.
Like he is like
He speaks for the authors.
We are reading what he's writing down.
Yes, right. Yeah. I do like Astinus.
There is to be a meeting between Raistlin and the Reverend Daughter of Paladine.
Yeah. Actually, in the annotations, you're right, Klab. Hickman says that he envisioned Astinus as a way of readers being able to believe that the story was being passed down.
As if it's
them.
a real story from another universe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tracy, again, gosh, I shouldn't keep using these things because people who've read the annotated version will be like, yeah, we know, we read all these annotations. But whatever.
But you know what? 3 out of the 4 Dungeons and Dweebs hosts have not.
That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This is for us. This is for us.
Yeah, we're only doing this for us. You're just there listening. So,
He didn't mean that.
I
Folks.
didn't mean that.
We
I
love you.
The podcast is free. I don't care. You're not giving us anything.
But it doesn't have to be free. Like if you want to take like a manila envelope or an old tax return envelope and send us money.
What was the old car talk thing? If you want to talk to us on the back of $100 bill, you can write our address and send it in the mail.
I would like to receive anything, like an old Ninja Turtles card. If somebody just took an old Ninja Turtles card, sent in the mail to us, I would just be like, hey, a fan sent us a Ninja Turtle card.
Maybe we'll have to work on getting a P.O. box.
Yeah, we got to
I don't know. We don't
If you have an old shipwreck G.I. Joe action figure and want to write our address on the back of it,
hey, there you go. But Tracy says Astinus is an avatar of Gillian. If not Gillian himself. And we kind of had big discussions over exactly what is the nature of Astinus. Is he a god? Is he not a god? And so Tracy is revealing that he is Gillian. But Chrysania, this is the last thing I'll say for a while of the annotations. Chrysania's name is a Christ metaphor.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't. You know what? My mind.
The virgin girl, all in white, is the priestess.
Yeah, and we'll get into how I think a lot of that. It's cool. There's a lot of. He's alluding to a lot of this. I do feel it gets muddled, even when Tracy is talking about how this is. There's a lot of Christianity and Mormonism thrown into this book, a huge amount.
You know, I don't see it. I do remember us talking about. Is it Hickman? Is
Mormon, yeah.
I guess I know nothing of Mormonism.
Yeah,
except they can't drink coffee or something.
There's a lot.
Can't drink coffee or alcohol.
So you know Lessman?
What? I don't know if either of those things are true, but I don't know.
It is.
I don't. But yeah, I don't know. I like that you guys bring this stuff up because that's just something like Kryn is just so separate from reality to me.
Right.
Like Chrysania.
That you're not seeing this.
Yeah, Chrysania is just—it's a beautiful name. That's all it was to me.
But I love this though because Chrysania for me actually was a problem name. Like I love Chrysania, but
I talked to you about this. I'm like, how the heck do you even say this name?
Yeah. Well, every time I'd write it in my notes, I'd have to look back at it in the book. Like what? Chrysania. But
Chrysania,
I started-
chrysanthemum. What are we talking about here?
I started abbreviating it. She's Chris after this part.
Right, but I love it because
KRYS.
Burger King came out. It said Margaret Weiss says that Burger King came out with a croissantwich, and she couldn't stop calling it the croissantwich.
That is so funny.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, do they still have the croissant?
Yes, they do.
I'm gonna start. That's all I'm gonna ask for.
They're not. They did
Sandwich.
I'll have a croissantwich, please. I want it very plain. I want it very plain. I want nothing spicy on it whatsoever.
They did something different now though with the dough for the bun, so it's not good. It's not as good as it used to be. It's not as
Sandwich
flaky.
purist at the table.
Why does it take 4 hours to get through half a book? Because we don't talk about the book. We just
talk about
Hey, we just had
what
to
is the consistency of the dough of a croissant?
Hey, this is what you tune in for.
So Chris Sandwich walks into the room with answers.
sandwich and roast beef sandwich are having a meeting.
But Chrisania is very important. She is like central to this whole book, which is why I don't know why Weiss is saying that you don't have to read this or it would be this to me. I love this chapter. This set up everything.
Yeah. Oh God, you
This
need
you
this.
have to read. I don't know who's skipping prologues, but you got to read this prologue. We meet Chrisania. She is described as statuesque. She wears the white as a cleric of Paladine. She has black hair pulled back severely, right? Is sitting and staring fixedly. I love this because instantly we know she is a black and white character. She and what I love about Chrisania is as we go through this book, she will start anyway down her character arc. Like she will really have a good arc in this book.
Yeah, and actually, just the inverse of Raistlin color-wise.
Oh yes, which is all intentional.
Oh God, yeah.
I love this. Yeah, because they're going to be like balance points. They're going to balance each other out. You know, kind of the good and evil coming together.
Yep.
In this book as we go through. But she's sitting there awaiting Raistlin.
Yep. And yeah, what Astinus is going to be like a sort of a mediator in this meeting between the two. We'll drop oh my gosh, names. Estelin.
Yeah.
He's dying. The old religions are spreading like wildfire now that the Tachesis has been stricken from the realm and
Right.
And I like
sort
the
of-
idea too here of our hall of education here being the neutral ground between the white god and the black devil, if you will.
Right.
Yes.
So this is neutral ground, so that's why they have Asnus here. That's why they're meeting in front of Asnus, is because nobody's going to mess with Asnus's place.
Right. And I like what's being said in this universe, and this is where I think what Hickman, and probably why you don't always grab the Christian metaphors out of this, is I think Hickman and Weiss set up a universe where the perfect Kryn is one that is in balance between good and evil.
That was talked about in the last sense.
Which is not what most mainline religions would go for. There's always a battle between good and evil, and you want evil to lose at some point. Whereas Kryn, it needs the good gods need the evil gods need the good gods. It's in balance. It needs to maintain
I think,
balance.
and that's the neutral god.
Right.
Is the one that kind of is always like showing them, and I think it's something about. What is it? The scales. That's the neutral god.
In order for the force to be
Gilead.
within balance, in order for the force to be within balance, you need both sides.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Which I really like. But I like how you get like this idea of Chrisania as right away she comes off as being very kind of ignorant in some ways, and she is just on fire for her faith. You know, which I like. It sets her up as a character with a lot of growing to do, a lot of places to go, which I really like. Elliston is who we're talking about, right? She was converted by Elliston, because we had, in the last books, we talked about Elliston and how he was converting everything, and I thought that was kind of a part of the book that was kind of a throwaway. Like, okay, this new religion is coming up, and he's going around.
The old religion.
The old religion reborn.
Yeah.
Correct. And Elliston was, to go back to Christian theology, Elliston was always Peter for me.
Yes, and definitely
And
he is.
the first pope,
Yep.
the last left of the original disciples that is now spreading this through, and she's down through his tendrils.
Right.
As he's
Elliston
spreading the
loves
church.
his pretty priestesses.
Yes, he does.
He's kind of.
Wouldn't you?
Well,
that's a whole
Not
other
if I
conversation.
was at Elliston.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. But you've nailed it, Klab, to labor the church metaphors that's going on, because it's going to flow throughout this entire thing. This idea that there's this early church, right, that is getting started, and
Correct.
he is Peter.
Yes.
That is correct. And even the names that are given, the Palanthians is what he names. I mean, you look at the New Testament of the Bible, there's Ephesians, Corinthians, Philippians. You could have a book to the Palanthians. In there.
Yeah.
Like Hickman is drawing on Christianity a lot and his Mormon faith. And I think where he'll start drawing on his Mormon faith is what Mormons in a lot of what am I going for? Mormons and Methodists and Baptists, right, that have departed from Catholicism. I see a lot of this book as Hickman's personal indictment against Catholicism, right? Where like you said, the church is getting started by like the first Pope Peter, right? And then when we go back in time and we kind of meet the head of the temple, he is the Pope. I think we're meant to supplant the Pope in his stead.
Anyway, all that aside,
sorry,
That's not in this half of the book.
that's not in this. Oh, sorry. Yeah, never mind.
That's fine.
Raceland's been in the Tower of High Sorcery in Palanthos.
Yes.
This is like mentioned that he just kind of showed up, cast a spell, and that body of the wizard that's been on the fence like kind of like saluted him as he went through.
Yeah.
I thought that was super cool.
And what a cool description of the
And-
Tower of High Sorcery, like rotting skeletal fingers clawing their way up from some unhallowed burial ground.
And this is my house now.
Yeah, I love it. I love
That's
it.
basically what it is. He just walks in and goes, I know I can control this. It's mine.
Yeah, you got the password. He got right in.
Yeah.
And you know what? I again, a lot of people probably could get down on me for having dogged on the last books, but I did love them. I was playing in some ways the part of the naysayer, which we've decided to go away from. But
So we have
when
this-
Raceland enters, I'm excited.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And what a perfect Raceland way to enter too.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of like, I'm here. What do you want?
Yeah, but I love
I have
it.
things to do.
I've forgotten how much I love this idea, which I think has become something that's used a lot. But Raceland is this powerful mage, but he's weak, right? It's something that they took from the Dungeons and Dragons, playbook. But I really love when they stick to that archetype, that you're super powerful in magic, but feeble of body.
Well, yeah, you're not going to take a punch, but in Raceland's case, nobody's ever going to get anywhere near enough to touch you.
Yeah. The amount of times he just appeared and disappeared in this book, it was nobody could get close to him unless you trusted them. That's the only way I can think.
Yes. So we start off with this meeting, and this meeting is essentially just Chrysania has had the vision from Paladine,
Right.
and she is going. She's got her mission.
Yep.
And she even tells Race, I'm going to save you.
Yeah.
And Race laughs at her.
That always goes over well when people say, I'm going to save you. Bob, I'm going to save you.
Right.
I don't know from what, but I'm going to save you from something.
Yeah, save you something. from something.
And this, I don't know. To me, this vision that Chrysania had, I think Raceland did it right away.
Interesting.
Right away. That's what I wrote down.
And see, I was going that it was an actual vision at this point. Later on, when we get some more, when we get the I love it when a plan comes together from Raceland, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and again, I love that Raceland invites her to his tower for further talks, play some video games.
And this,
Spell books and chill.
Yeah.
oh my god.
You want to play Ico? I'm really good at it.
I don't know if it was just not brought up in the original trilogy that the tower in Palanthos was also called a Tower of High Sorcery.
Yes.
So that's where I didn't remember that, and like when he's like, meet me at the Tower of High Sorcery in 2 days, I'm like, how is she gonna get all the way to the Tower of High Sorcery in the Wayward Forest?
Remember, they all used to be towers.
They were all called the Tower of High Sorcery.
There used to be multiple of them,
Yeah.
and then when the Kingfisher or whatever he is,
the King Priest.
when all of the mages went to the one. All of the mages went to the one to try to hide themselves, and we can all get together and protect one tower. We can't do all three anymore.
Yep.
Right.
Because there used to be a
3 or 5.
I think it was 5.
Five.
I think it was
Five.
5. And then,
Yeah.
and then this one was just left to the dude who
I
threw
thought-
himself off and cursed it as everybody else was leaving.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why it's still there.
Yes.
Is because of that dark curse.
Yes. So we have this. They go through this. Raceland disappears. Chrysania starts this is my plan, is I'm going to, go see the other wizards at the Tower of High Sorcery, and they're going to help me get to Raceland. And
Right.
I found Tennis Burfoot, and he's going off to get the garbage dwarf. And
Well, we can talk about that some more.
And end chapter. She accepts, right, to go to Raceland.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like sexual tension between the two.
Instantly there is.
Instantly, yeah. After after Askness like gets ticked and storms off, like I'm getting so far behind on my work.
Right.
Storms out of there. And then she's to meet with Raced in 2 days, and at this point, I'm still thinking she's supposed to go to the other tower, but I get really confused, and we'll get into it.
Yeah,
Yes.
right on.
Yeah, and then Race disappears, and she's there alone for a minute and she's like, "What are these butterflies in my stomach?"
Yeah.
He was hot.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
When Raceland's body is super warm, I guess.
She is like that
Soft
just like a
velvet.
super good church girl who's just like hanging out with her friends, and then all of a sudden, the biker gang shows up, and she's like, I just hate them.
I hate them. But
Hey,
I would jump on the back of that. No, I would not.
even in Kryn,
Yeah.
the good chicks have a thing for the bad boys.
Yeah, it's true. Yes. Yes. But what I like about this is also balanced out by the fact it'll come up then that the bad boy has a thing for the good chick. It's also his weakness.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're on to now
Chapter 1.
Chapter
no
1
more prologue.
Book
Book 1, Chapter 1.
of Volume 1.
Of Volume 1.
It makes it sound cooler.
Okay.
All right. So
Hey, Tika.
yeah, I love Tika's
Buxom barmaid.
I like her. She's just a salt of the earth woman. Tika is my favorite.
But
she's busty. She's got a good work ethic. She can run a business on her own. She don't need no man to define her.
But she's
Figure that
sad.
out.
She's sad, and I think we get that image. I automatically wanted to know what was going on because from the get-go, I'm like, okay, it's Tika, and she's doing her job, and these things are happening, but she seems off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
she's not her happy-go-lucky, everything's good, Caramon's awesome, yay.
No,
It's
she
just-
starts out. She is just reaming out Desra.
Yeah.
this helper, right, who's working at the bar. She's spilling some beer and she's just ripping her a new one, and you're like, oh, that's not the Tika I remember, right?
I don't like that Tika. I don't want that.
And
Tika.
then we
Bring me back the
have
old one.
uncomfortable things happening with gully dwarfs who's going and licking the spilled beer up and stuff like that. I don't know really where gully dwarves sit. Like, I don't know what are we supposed to think about them? Like, should we be for like human rights for gully dwarves or not? They feel like very like, I hate to use the word sub-intelligent, but I feel like in Kryn it's okay to have this weird middle race that isn't all there.
Yeah, exactly. And, are we supposed to feel like everybody in the bar is a jerk because they're laughing at the special needs busboy who accidentally spilled the glasses? Flowers for Algernon, or these different aspects.
Well, when you put it that way,
Yeah.
I feel really bad.
No, I feel really bad.
I don't understand. I'm right there with you, Bob.
Yeah,
I don't understand where we're supposed to sit here.
Yeah,
It was a different time back then.
Yeah,
Kryn. I don't know why I was talking
honestly,
like that.
I just think they are the comedic relief. Tika's sitting there yelling, screaming, and then, oh wait, there's a gully dwarf.
Yeah, named
Licking
Raph.
it. Yeah,
Raph
naming
the gully
Raph.
dwarf.
Laughing at beer.
Yeah, and
It's like, haha, oh wait.
Tika's running the Inn of the Last Home now.
Yeah.
We get I like it. Like throughout these first couple chapters, we get some like recap, and I don't hate it.
No, I don't at all.
Like a recap in a separate trilogy. I know I kind of harped on. I think I was harping on the first trilogy. There was too much recap.
But when you're in a new trilogy, and I feel like time has gone on. We're separated by time here is what has happened. We need to know kind of, so what has happened and where does this all fit in?
Tika's running the inn, and man, did I want some spicy potatoes so bad reading this chapter.
We gotta cook some.
It was like late at night, and I'm like, I'm kind of hungry, and I'm reading the book. I'm like, man, I gotta go for some potatoes.
Yeah. But like you said, Tika's obviously unhappy. She doesn't even want her friends to stay along when they come. So we know something's up. We jump.
Tannis is on his way, and he's
Tannis?
a big old hero now.
He's a big old hero.
Which he should be.
He's fleeing with a woman.
Well, he's a big old hero, and he's a prince, essentially.
Yeah. Was it supposed to be hidden from us that the person with him was Chrysania? Because I kind of knew right away the woman with him was Chrysania.
I didn't know until they said her name.
I thought it was Goldmoon.
Oh, really? Okay. Because I figured they just named Goldmoon. They were going to say.
There was something like the way it was being described that I thought he was leading around an old woman.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
It's the rich girl who hasn't gone on a hike.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like for some reason, it painted a picture of an old woman.
But we get this idea that there's pursuers that are lurking on the edge of their vision. So there's this kind of urgency that they're trying to get somewhere. Nothing is made of those beyond that, right?
It is.
When they get back to the forest.
No, later on.
Don't say it. What is it?
At the end of book 1, we learn that was part
Raceland.
That was part of Raceland's
Yeah, Raceland
plan
was doing
he was in there
to put all
encouraging.
these pieces together.
Okay.
Right. It was just say,
But for
"All
us,
I
there
got stuff to do. Move along. Move it along. She's got to get here. I got stuff to do.
But nothing else
people
really
are
comes
chasing
of that until we find out that, like, so I wonder, like, did they think, like, oh, we got chased here? No, where's the things chasing us? They just
Yeah,
kinda
why
disappear.
why did they think, what was chasing
They
them?
were just
It
seeing
was just
things at the
shadows.
edge
Was
of
that
their
just it?
vision,
Just shadows
giving an
and-
urgency.
Okay.
Yep. This is where we had talked, Luke and I, because I saw you while I was in the middle of reading this, and I was going, is there? So I got to ask the rest, you two, Paul and Klab, was there a weird like break here in your book between where it shifted between Tanis and back to the end of the last home, where there's no paragraph break, and all of a sudden it's back there, and I didn't know that happened.
In the beginning of this book, that happened to me a few times.
Yes.
Where there was just a weird. It was just a shift
of point of view.
And that was something,
Okay,
was something that was done that we talked about with the first trilogy.
Yeah.
That was something that they did quite often, where all of a sudden you'd be here and stuff was going on here, and then you're in another place, and there's no like.
There aren't enough carriage returns in between the paragraphs.
Yes, and maybe it's because like
give me the asterisks,
Yeah,
give me the little
right
a line.
yes,
and like right now, maybe it's because it's summer and I'm reading a lot of Clive Cussler. Okay, but Clive Cussler just holds your hand through it, and there's like either chapter breaks or there's like giant spaces between shifts in point of view. And when you're with a new character, it tells you.
Yeah, it tells you. Usually it's that chapter,
Yeah.
but in this book, I will say, in the beginning, that happened a lot. As I read
It
further,
didn't
though,
anymore.
Correct.
It stopped.
In fact,
it became much more linear.
This was the only instance that it happened
Yeah.
for me. But yeah, I agree.
But we do get like so it's Tanis leading Chrysania.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's still supporting my theory that she's meeting Raceland at the other tower of high sorcery.
Yes.
I see
Yeah.
what you're getting. It
Okay.
is a very quick dropped line as to where she's going.
because it doesn't
to check him out.
It doesn't
pretty
say how long it's been or anything.
No.
I'm like, okay, well, and Tanis is like, well, I guess in chapter 2. I guess can we just say we're in chapter 2 now?
much. We can go
Yeah.
all over the place,
Yeah.
come back, whatever we need to do.
Yes, we arrive at the end of the last home.
Right, and
They-
Audic is just like inflating what he did during the land.
Yes,
I like
and
that.
I like the character of Oleg here because I have known that guy who sold the bar,
Yeah.
yet still comes into the bar
And talks about
and
it.
talks about when he owned the bar.
When I owned the bar, we did it this way.
And what I like is Riverwind is there, but it's very obvious he's there like as the token, like Riverwind's here, remember him from the last, and he's gonna leave,
We get a little quick drop. We get a little quick drop about the family.
The family's
Yeah.
going on. And this was so needed because the other book was so top heavy with characters. Again, I think Weiss and Hickman, the success of the other trilogy, they now have the power, they have the reins, they can do, I think,
Correct.
more what they want. And so again, the last trilogy, not deriding those two at all, they now have control, and it shows. They're getting rid of the superfluous
That's actually, I
characters.
was surprised that all these characters were even showing back up.
Yeah. Well, you need the quick reunion.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
know,
And that's
it
it.
is very quick.
That's
It's very quick.
That's what it is. This is the fan plug. We're gonna have Riverwind and Tanis show up here to make a quick cameo.
Yep. Which I'm glad, because, okay, Tanis, you know me and Tanis.
But these two,
What's your plan, Tanis?
What's your plan, Tanis?
these two
Put
show
in the hands of Caramon. That's what you
these
gotta do.
these two show up to make the quick cameo, and then they're out the door. Because they're both royalty and they're both leaders and they both have their own stuff and their own kingdoms that they got to go deal
And
with.
I really like, like Tanis has crap going on in his life. He's like, I can't stay here.
And I love that
can't
he's got
help.
crap in his
I
life that he
will
can't
say-
do.
And I was afraid going into this book that all of a sudden it's going to be all right. We're going to everybody back together, and it's going to be the sequel. It's going to be the rehash sequel where we get everybody back together, and they go do the same thing as they did in the first one, except the bad guys did.
I will say, when Tanis first appeared, though, there was a moment where I just groaned. And it was when Tanis just starts
Well, you know what?
crying. And
For
I'm
me-
like,
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, oh gosh, please no, please don't have this again.
But I
for an
felt
entire
for
book.
Tanis because because this was right before they got to the end of the last home, and he walks by the place where he met Flint 3-4 years or 2 years ago or whatever it was when they began the last adventure.
Yeah, like 3.
Yeah, and so it is that thing where you go by something that reminds you of somebody.
Well,
That
I gotta
I'm
say,
okay with, but it just happened.
Well, and there's
where
so
immediately
much
I'm like,
sobbing
oh,
in this
shut
book.
Up, Tanis, don't
crying.
sob,
Yeah,
don't sob.
started crying. But yeah, I guess for me, it was just the bad luck of where I have not a whole lot of negative things to say about this book at all. But it just so happened that when Tanis showed up is the only place in the book that weird jump happen, and of course it's like Tannis shows up and somebody drops a vase. Like I'm like, yeah, and sure, he like that first prologue was so strong for me, and then all of a sudden Tannis shows up and you can hear the scratch sound, stop.
And then we go, and then we have this whole thing with Tika where she's like, "Oh, I invited everybody," but and then we go into Tika's head for a while, but we don't really go into Tika's head. We just get her whining now about stuff, and I'm like, "Oh God, here we go."
Yeah. Well, and I'm actually at this point actually kind of getting intrigued because I'm a big Tika person. I love Tika, so I'm like, okay, so what's going on here? And it's hard for me to remember. Like I read this book a long time ago, and so I knew what was coming up this time around reading it again. I knew what was going on with Caramon. So
we get
but
to
it still got me interested.
We get to the end of the last home. Chrysania's got a mission. She needs to, basically she needs bodyguards.
Yep.
This is a D&D setup right here.
Yeah.
You go to the tavern. You meet the lady. You meet the priestess lady who needs bodyguards in order to get to where she's going, and that's how your adventure begins.
It is. It's like a weird like D&D campaign mixed with reality. I love. Yeah. Tannis is going off. He has to go there, having the funeral for Elhana's father.
Yes,
right.
Who's been dead for 2 years. But okay, anyway,
I gotta get to my father-in-law's funeral. Where my wife's gonna kill me.
The speaker of the sons.
His wife, his brother-in-law, who is actually married to Elhana, and I like their
Porthios.
Porthios. Yeah, they're kind of talking about like.
Hey, remember these names, guys?
Well, no, it was like.
I mean, we're getting them all.
It's a callback. It's good. Like it's real. Like they're like, oh, Ahana married him, but it was totally political. We all know her longest term.
It feels very real. Yeah. It feels very organic. We're getting a lot of name drops, but it's not jarring.
And so does the situation. Like Tannis, he's like, I'm going that way. I'll bring you, and I know my buddy Caramon. He'll take you from there because I don't have time.
Correct.
But like, I'll help you get there. But we gotta go.
It's also a really good way to explain why there isn't the big party again.
Yeah,
where it's just like,
well,
this person's busy, this one's got this, they've got a family.
Yeah, it's an efficient way of putting all your characters out to pasture.
Some priestess says like she's got some mission, but you know what? The world's not ending. I'm just gonna keep doing me.
Yeah.
Well, and I gotta do this, and I'll make arrangements for you, and everything will be set up. And
but we gotta go now.
I'm
running late.
But again, there's no cell phones, there's no Facebook. They may have been able to write letters back and forth, but nobody. If you're not with the people there, you don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But Tannis tries to, hey, Riverwind, will you take her to where she needs to go, right? And while they're talking over old times, the doorway is filled with a dark shadow, and Caramon comes lumbering in.
I'm here.
How? No, it was. How come nobody told me it was a party?
Yeah.
Wait, he doesn't. Okay. He shows up, and Tannis doesn't recognize him. And I have a real hard time believing that because I don't care how fat you guys get, or how much you don't shave. I'm always gonna know it's you. Yeah, and you guys aren't like the.
It's dark. There's candlelight flickering. There's maybe. Different.
But also like he's just like the biggest dude. Like
but now he's also vertically and horizontally the biggest dude.
Yeah, but I don't think we're led to believe that he's morbidly obese. He's just got like an extra 40-pound beer gut. Extra 40-pound beer gut.
No, because they talk about his thighs a bunch later on too.
And it's always I can't remember what.
So he looks like Weird Al on Fat video.
Yeah. It's the difference between Ben Stiller in Dodgeball and then Ben Stiller in the credit scene in Dodgeball.
It's an Eddie Murphy bit. He's doing an Eddie Murphy bit.
Exactly.
We're in the fat makeup. Okay, so he's coming in.
Okay, folks, we'd like to hear from you on Facebook or Twitter. Which reference was better, the Eddie Murphy Nutty Professor reference or the Dodgeball Ben Stiller reference?
We'll start a poll.
You know that we'll never get any feedback from this. But anyway,
there's a bunch of suspense surrounding.
I love the fact that he walks in the door and he passes out.
Yeah.
There's that one line and thud. That's it.
Oh, hey guys, who didn't invite me to your party? And he just thud.
Well, let's talk about this. What do you guys think of the choice to make Caramon a drunk?
I love it.
Drunk.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, it's realistic.
I think this is the greatest move that those two authors could have done in their universe.
What does the warrior do when there's no more war to fight?
Yes.
Or what does the protector do when his ward is gone?
You
sit there and you are lost.
This idea would resonate as being true to nearly anybody who is reading this, whether you're from the time, at the time when this was being written, if you were still, an old fantasy fan, and from new people from World War II, from Vietnam, the Gulf Wars, any of those, there'd be these stories about the warrior who comes home and feels like there's no more war to fight. Where is his place? And
we've all met. We've all met the guy, sitting at the bar or whatever. Well, back when I was in Nam and we did this, and I saw some really let me tell you a story about the days in the war. Buy me a drink and I'll tell you a story about the days in the war.
Right. And you still revere him as this hero, and you cover up for all the facts that he is now like, well, so what are you going to do now, man?
Well, and
you're now living a life that is not...
And it talks about he tried to do a bunch of things.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of all fell by the wayside when the bedroom that he was building for Raceland was never going to come to.
Yeah. And I think we can talk about it all through the book, or through even the parts, the first half, that he is still hung up on his allegiance to Raceland.
Oh, yeah.
Without Raceland, he can't go on, which I find this is such a great move for the writers, because I thought Caramon was a character who went nowhere in those last books.
Yes. He had no story other than I'm going to follow whatever Raceland does.
Constantly was just a pawn for Raceland, to the point of where I was going, somebody needs to slap him in the face with a fish.
Yes.
Because he just, I'm getting sick of how pandering he is to Caramon, or to Raceland. What I love is that the authors, I think, know that and bring him to just the pits.
And it makes him so human.
Yes.
And it makes him so fallibly human.
Yeah.
And also, again, we like I said, we all know that guy who relives the whether it was the high school football game or the war or whatever. Yeah. We all also know the guy who we feel bad for his poor wife, but we put up with him because we know his wife loves him.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yes. Which I love. I love that Tika, in a lot of ways, is the one that she's putting up with it. She's the enabler in a lot of ways, and for a brief moment, and then she really takes it to him.
That's it.
Yeah, that's when she just
everybody has their breaking point.
Yeah, exactly, and she will have it. But man, we're through chapters 2, and so far, this book has not stumbled really for me. This has been fantastic.
The only stumble for me so far has been the whining, the whining, and the weird shift. That's been it.
Which was the whining was ubiquitous. Whining and crying a lot happened. In Chronicles. Yeah.
Well, I like the Chrysania move here too, of the oh hell no, and just leaves.
Yeah. She's just no. I'm not dealing with this. Bye.
Yes. So we learn what happened to Caramon. Taz is on his way because Chris sent him out on some errand
to get Bumpa.
We're segueing to chapter 3.
So worried when that was her plan. I'm like, okay, so is she gonna show up with Boo-Poo and that's just going to sway Raceland? I'm like, if that's what happens, I'm gonna be pissed. The dark and powerful Raceland, I remember the Gully Dwarf. I guess I'll be good now.
Yeah. I did have a soft spot.
I'm so worried.
Remember this garbage Fraggle you met once? Here she is.
I know what. There's also a line Tika's looking at Chrysania and she's like, I know she's in love. And at this point, the only thing that the only thing I know about Chrysania is she's only talked to Raceland once.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she
is a severe woman.
Yeah, she's in love.
She's a zealot.
Okay.
She is a severe zealot.
And I can also see that coming from Tika, going back to Tika and Caramon's relationship in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Because and where their relationship is now oh God, I remember when we first met and I kind of felt those hijinks and now I have this.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I didn't take notes in chapter 4. It must have been this book kept me up late a couple of times, and that must have been one of the last chapters I read.
Oh, so not a lot.
I finished the chapter. Okay, I'm going to bed. I just booked the
chapter 4. We kind of have a day in the life of Caramon. Right, where he wakes up drunk, stumbles in for breakfast. Tika yells at him for the display last night. Your friends showed up last night at the inn.
No, our friends. Our friends showed up, and you embarrassed me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what's the So you remember? So it's she's just kind of hey, remember last night? Yeah, I remember what I did.
What did I do?
Yeah,
Yeah, I totally remember, guys.
Then she yells at him,
what
so he
was
gets
that?
up. He gets up, goes back into his room, and like a true drunk, has liquor bottles hidden everywhere.
Just stashed everywhere. And I love that Audic shows up and says that Chrysania has left.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, and I imagine Caramon and this is where like all the impetus of him being like this drunk, sitting around the house wearing Crocs. That's what I see. Like he's just sitting there drunk, like
He's got his wife beater on.
He's got a Cabela's magazine sitting on his lap. It's like I'm gonna go fishing later.
Just a hams next door,
What are you putting down the hams?
Okay, fine. He's just got the plain bottle of Kharkov, no soda, nothing.
Yeah, it's straight vodka for this guy. You know it.
Just sitting in the lawn chair that really has like 3 strands left on the bottom in the yard, reading the Cabela's, looking at the wagon that's up on blocks. Yeah, I'm gonna fix that up.
He used to drink vodka. Now he drinks Fireball because he thinks it tastes like he's
Don't
Big
you
Red.
knock Fireball?
Nobody knows I'm drinking. I got Big Red. I'm just chewing Big Red right now.
So
Don't you knock Fireball?
I'm gonna knock Fireball.
Oh, that poison. My body does not like Fireball.
It's cool because country western music sings about it.
Does Taz show up in chapter 4? Is that chapter?
Yes.
I love the Taz point of view. Like just wandering through town.
Oh, the door's locked.
I
That's
love it.
rude.
Yeah.
Why would they lock the door? This window works. Let's get this window open. Sure.
And he's not even like sure that it's their house.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh man, I like this place.
And can I just say that last time, Taz throughout the last trilogy, I felt was kind of bumbling, which he's supposed to be. But a lot of times they kind of tried to shove him in, and the stuff he was doing didn't always work for me. Throughout this entire book, his character makes sense to this plot.
Yes.
Like they found out how to use Taz in a way that works.
And part of that is, and they talk about it in here a lot, especially when we're in Taz's head, Taz has grown up.
Yeah.
He's afraid.
Yeah.
He has fear.
Right,
Yeah.
And
which
I
you
love
need
that.
because writing a character that is just constantly without fear,
Yeah.
just doing it, really is hard to do.
I liked
it smacks of not real.
I liked how they did the fear though, where he's not afraid for himself. He's always like, well, I don't want them to get hurt.
Yes.
I don't want them to die. I remember when Flint died, and it was terrible for me.
Right.
If I die, okay.
It's a clever
Flint,
way of doing it.
No, yeah, it's a great way of making a Kender have fear.
Yes,
And I like the description of the garbage Fraggle,
Fraggle.
because they keep referring to her. They don't introduce her right away.
It's just like a pile of laundry.
Yeah, they just, and I'm like, wow, there's really a lot of crap in this yard.
He truly has just that junkyard.
yeah.
And so he bounds in the window, and Tika's, oh my God, Taz. And,
Right.
Aren't they yelling at each other? And he just kind of comes in. And he just starts like yelling at Caramon too.
Yeah.
But wait, what did he do?
Because Tika is just whipping armor at him.
That's
like,
what it
you
is.
are going to go after her. She is out in the woods alone.
You know,
Get this on right now.
Yeah.
This, are we doing this? Is this a game? And then he picks something up and like throws it at Caramon.
Yeah.
That's fun. Let's do. Here's a boot.
Oh, but Tika, she's just a fiery redhead.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love that Tika. Throwing armor.
You're gonna get up. You're gonna do your goddamn job.
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Ow!
Love it.
What was that?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Taz.
I love this again too. That Caramon, when Taz arrives, it's the house that Caramon was building, and it's unfinished. And the only finished room is the room for Raceland.
Well, we had the scene before Taz actually gets to the house, where Taz asks a passerby where Caramon and Tika's house is, and the guy points and goes over there, and he looks over, and there's the half-finished house that looks kind of from afar away. It just looks like they're building a nice half-finished house.
It's that beautiful treehouse.
That's not a bad. That's a nice looking house. And the guy's like, "What the heck are you talking?" No. Down. The trailer.
They're building that nice house that they've been building for 10 years, and they've been staying in this trailer for the entire time.
It looks like the Berenstain Bears house. But
Berenstein or Berenstain?
We don't want to get into that. Let's not get into that.
And as he gets,
what do you remember?
Yeah, so that's when we find out that there's tools and stuff kind of like just rusted in half, and there's like half nailed on boards and stuff on the house as you get closer to it. But yeah, so they're in the bedroom, they're throwing armor at Caramon. Caramon's just drunkenly, leave me alone.
Yeah.
You don't understand me, woman.
Yeah. I love that this chapter ends with Taz saying, this is certainly starting out all wrong.
Yeah,
And in my head, I'm going, oh no, this is starting out all right.
No, it's not. And
This
then-
is perfect.
And then even then, exactly the problem we had with Dragons of Autumn Twilight. We got no bad guy right away. Cut to chapter 5. Kit's back.
Yeah.
She's riding Sky.
There she is for
Oh
Uncle
my-
Klab. Enjoy.
Oh.
And I'm gonna ask the question here.
I'm sorry, I don't have those same feelings. I just picture like old Sigourney Weaver on the back of a blue dragon.
What's wrong with that?
I don't find
I've got-
Sigourney Weaver attractive.
I've got nothing for Kit. I never,
Even when she
No,
was
it's-
in any of the first Alien, I just couldn't
It's
take.
Tika all the way. Tika all the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Tika.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
Tika.
so-
Team Tika.
Give me a
So
bad
Kit's
girl.
here. Sky is here. I'm gonna ask the question now about the Draconians. I thought all the Draconians after Takesis was banished
Yes.
died.
Or so we were led to believe.
No, I thought they just went kind of crazy. Like when,
Yes.
like in Lord of the Rings, when the tower fell, everybody ran. Goblins, orcs, all of them started running. That's what came to mind with me was when
Yes.
Takesis died. Everybody started running. Everybody separated into.
They
their
were
own
like the
tribes.
aliens from Ender's Game, and they weren't able to communicate telepathically
Yeah.
with each other.
After the Queen was dead.
After the Queen was dead.
So yeah, we got that. I was confused by that also. Yeah, okay. The Draconians, and then I didn't bring it up before. Raceland's cough is back. I thought that was healed or something when he put on the black robes or had the talk with the dragon.
I thought it was
What-
healed as
Who's
well.
he talking to when his cough is back?
Oh, Chrysania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
he's
And,
playing
blood
it
and,
up
that,
for
and,
her.
and that's why I never saw him. I never read him. Them talking about the cough anytime other than when he's in front of the good people
Yeah.
or the other people.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. I mean, but
So I
you know,
took that.
there's
I
still
took that as he's
blood
still
coming
playing.
out of his mouth.
So
Well, yeah, but I mean,
honey, I can make blood come out of my mouth right now.
What?
please don't.
Well, that's awkward.
It's magic.
Magic. Okay. If we're gonna lean on that crush.
No, you know, I'm with you, and I know. So, like,
It's the guy- it's
I've
the-
been back on the Dragonlance pages, and there are people who know this universe like the back of their hand. But I'm with you, Luke. That again, we're just reading these books and just saying what we think. I was under that same impression.
Yeah, because
It's
it
a
was
ruse.
even.
Yeah,
it
and
was
I
even-
like your explanation.
It's the
that
guy-
it's a ruse. I'm sure there's people listening who have all the backstory as to what's going on here.
It's the guy who limps right before the big race.
right
To
right.
throw his enemies off guard, and
I
then all of a sudden
like
there's
your
nothing wrong with his
interpretation.
foot.
I like
I
that.
do like it.
It just didn't come through when I read it. You know, I did because I didn't remember. I didn't know where he was at. Does he have the cough? Does he does? And actually, I don't
Because
care.
there was
Where's
something
the-
in the scene that we did on our last episode for the Lance Chronicles.
Yes.
Like even like when I was Raceland in that, like it so much, like I thought he was healed so much that like even in my
No, he
depiction
was.
of him,
As far as I knew,
I
he
tried to
was
make
as
him
well.
sound like he was like
And,
stronger.
and again, if you pay attention, because I was paying attention to this, and it's in my notes numerous times in here about the idea.
This guy picked it up. That was as Klab was writing this down. He picked it up.
I hate you guys. But no, it was numerous times. The only time that he has the cough, or they describe him as being frail, as being as frail or as frail as he used to be, is when he's in front of other people.
He's playing he's sympathizing to or trying to look sympathetic to Chrysania so that again she'll get those instincts to like want to try to heal him to change.
Well, and
him,
so
that
and so you don't want to look your strongest right
Right.
away in front of your enemy.
I like that. I do like that.
I like that too.
All right.
That was Balsarog's problem, or what? Who was the bad guy in the other one?
Verminard?
Verminard.
Balsarog. He's just a guy. He's
unfortunate
carved
name.
out of balsa wood, has stubby feet.
Okay.
He wears Adidas sandals.
That was Verminard's problem. Is Verminard was always stepped up to the absolute max, so you could figure out how to defeat him because he's always at 100.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. So she's flying to the Tower of High Sorcery. Lord Soth would get to survive. Lord
Okay,
Soth is with her. Right.
Took me a minute to remember Lord Soth, and then as soon as
Well, I
they
guess, you know,
described him again, I went, "Oh yeah."
She's
I
like
love Soth.
she's like talking to herself at first,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden like, he materializes once they're on the ground. But
Yeah.
I do
I love
like
Soth.
they're flying by Palanthos and like just outside of the range of all the guards, and Sky's shooting lightning bolts at the wall just because he's pissed.
Yeah, I do like it.
That is what a dragon would do.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
it's just
dramatic
like,
dragon,
hey,
yeah, just pissed.
Screw you guys. You defeated us, but I'm just going to terrify
And
you
I-
over and over again.
I went for the entire. Yeah, this is Kitiara and Sky requesting a flyby.
Right.
That's a negative dragon rider.
But again, like we've been saying, this is a scene that's totally just meant to be like, hey, let's get Kitiara in here. Mm-hmm. You know, so again, like, hey, Kitiara's back. Oh, and Lord Soth, I remember him. He's cool. And because she is going to see Raceland, and Raceland pretty much lets us in on part of his plan, right? That his plan is to use Chrysania and Caramon for his ultimate plan, which is kept in the dark from us. We're not supposed to know right now what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
What his ultimate plan is.
Yeah, we have no idea at this point. You get like little. I do like the way that we find out. You get little nuggets over time.
Yes.
Which I
like.
enjoy because if you got
It's
it all,
revealed
if you got
to
it
us
all,
basically as it's being revealed to Chrysania a
Yeah.
lot of the times. We're
sort of.
only a half step ahead of her throughout most of this book.
and I like that.
I really like that. I like how Kitiara reveals something about back to Raceland's birth, that the midwife wanted to kill Raceland because he was weak. And it's Kitiara who saved him.
Which in medieval times would have been a very, very real thing
Yes.
for midwives to do.
Yeah. Which I really like, but then Kitiara talks about beating him too.
Yeah.
So, like, it's quite the relationship that they have.
yeah, the entire
yeah.
family's messed up. Let's be honest. Yeah.
They talk. Raceland and Soth have a little magic pissing match at first. Like I do kind of like Soth like listing off his powers.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh my god, this guy's scary.
Right. Well, I think we're back to some of the really strong points of the Chronicles, where you have all of these layers of Kitiara, Soth, and Raceland all on the same side, in some ways, but working against each other.
Yeah.
Like Soth and Kitiara, especially, they all have their own goals, their own wants, and layers to what they're doing, and it's a stronger. The story's stronger because
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
definitely.
Yeah.
And also, Kit doesn't like Raceland's plan one bit. She wants
Yeah.
Soth to go off and just kill Chrysanthemum before before she reaches the tower. Even like, just don't even chance it. Just get her out of the way.
Which is exactly what should be done. Which is what I like, because
Like, why are you toying with all these moving pieces? Just kill her.
And
because Raceland's ultimate goal is way bigger.
Yeah.
Yes.
She doesn't have all the pieces.
Yes.
She can't see the whole
Yep.
puzzle.
And there is, and again, it's very true to Kit's character here as well, and the character arc that we had seen from the other books of, oh, little brother, you're always scheming.
Yeah, yeah. And almost her confidence in herself is blinding her to just how powerful Raceland has become and what he's actually trying to do. He's always going to be her little brother.
My little fit, frail brother.
Who I used to beat. I saved your life and I beat you.
Kitiara is telling this plan to Lord Soth. We're like asking him to do it, and I didn't feel like he was on board with it. He seems like he's like, oh, let's listen to him. Let's listen to what Raceland wants to do. And
Is Lord Soth required to follow her direction, though?
I don't
That
think
was
so.
Not anymore.
Okay, not anymore?
Not anymore.
No.
After
remember
there
that.
was the whole end game in the last one, he and his troops were released from being stuck in that one area.
Okay.
Yep.
So now I just take it as, he's, battalion number 4.
He is,
Or
but
actually
there was
battalion
always,
number
and I don't
1,
know where they've
probably.
gone with it, maybe in other books, but there's still that weird kind of lust relationship.
Yeah, there's
that
a relationship between the
She
two.
lords her sexuality over him
Yeah.
to try to get him to do things.
Well, I think
And
there's a
it'll come up later. Like, no matter like how not on board he is with her plan,
Yeah.
he still does what she asks.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. He's got ghost lust.
Yeah, he's got a real
Well,
ghost
yeah.
crush on her.
Yes. The power of ghost boners.
I was trying to figure out something with a bone, but I just
All right, so as we keep moving on here, through the time of twins, Lex and Livia are on the run, and sorry, wrong time of twins book.
Not you two.
3 days
you.
on the road, and now my sorry. Caramon and Taz have been on the road for 3 days drinking the whole way.
Don't forget about Boo Boo.
Yeah, there's always boo-boo.
There's
Yes,
boo-boos
hitting every. I'll go see if she was in this tavern.
Yes, yes.
And you get new and improved, matured Taz.
Which we talked about, right?
Yep.
That now he has empathy
Yes.
for his friends and all that.
So
Which I
he's
like.
outside taking care of Boo-Poo, so he can't go in and prevent Caramon from getting...
Into the Cracked Mug, a great name for a tavern, by the way.
And we have these descriptions here as they're walking along about Caramon complaining about how his armor's chafing him now because he can't actually put it on correctly.
It's clanking because they couldn't cinch it down.
Yes, it talks about, and I just have this vision because it does talk a little bit about how his waist, his waist and his breastplate are separated by so his gut is actually sticking out. So I just have this horrible picture of fat Caramon with like the breastplate that's now like a half shirt.
He's starting to look like Yarna Del Gargan.
You get a definite minus to your
Jabba the Hutt.
AC for that one.
Yes, and it talks about his and like because of where he is as a Kender. Where his actual stature as a Kender, like he keeps
3 apples high.
Yes, he keeps like looking at Caramon's flabby thighs jiggling under the armor.
What an awful thing to stare at for 3 days while walking around.
I think we just go ahead of.
Let's go see if she's in this bar. Maybe it would be better, Caramon, if we looked on the road instead of in the bar.
Ask in the bar.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So we learned at the Cracked Mug that Chrysania is wandering around aimlessly in the woods nearby, and Taz is worried that she might wander into Darkenwood, which I kind of hoped.
Yeah.
Let's go back
to Darkenwood.
Let's go back to Darkenwood. It's going to be
as long as they don't have to ride on the back of any of the forest creatures.
And that was her plan, though, to go see the forest master there and get a ride to the town.
And as soon as we found that out, I'm like, no, please, God.
Can we not go back to the centaurs? Which, by the way, okay,
I didn't have any problem with the centaurs. I had a problem with the My Little Pony forest god.
Okay, but you know what?
Jump on me, rump.
On the advice of a listener, gone back and listened to or read a lot of the Xanth novels by Piers Anthony. I didn't read them then. That is what he was going for. I'm going to say Hickman was referencing and doing a shout out in all of that weird grip me rump stuff to the Xanth books.
Oh, you were talking to
that
me
is
about those.
And I love the Xanth books.
Yeah, and the Xanth books are great. They're very farcical. It takes place in like Florida, but it's wonderful. But in there's a lot of weird kind of gripping the posteriors of centaurs, grabbing them around the waist. Unicorns and centaurs having weirdly sexual relationships. It's bizarre.
But that's okay in that universe.
Yeah, it's great in that universe.
That universe is set up to be that universe from the get-go.
Yep.
We are not a farcical universe here.
Yeah,
that's
and
why when they
Hickman
did,
was referencing it, and it didn't quite work.
So when they did the farcical stuff in the first series, that's what got. It wasn't that I don't like the farcical stuff. It was just so out of place within this universe.
I mean, you're okay with centaur love, right? Like, you're all right with that. Like, I mean, I think we should all call you out and you should make a stance right now. Like, are you all right with that?
Are you against it?
Hey.
Or are you against that? Are you a nace?
Whatever two
A nace.
consenting
Nace.
whatever two consenting of age beings do in a barn by themselves is their business. So
Keep it in that barn. I don't want to see none of that out of my lawn.
well,
That's that. I hear they pay big money on the internet for that.
Hey-oh.
so we're at the cracked mug.
Cracked mug.
The cracked mug.
We've been there for a while. We find out that she's.
I have the great
hanging around.
English pub sign.
Yep.
Yeah.
That just has that is probably at this place only hanging by one chain,
Yes.
and then has the cracked mug on it.
I know why you had that image.
Because
That's
it's
not in
the
my book.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
That's not in my book.
It's right in my book, chapter 6, with the little.
That chat's in the
one
notes.
hanging-
Okay. That's not in my. I read the digital version, so that's not in my book.
Okay.
Boy, digital versions sound like it sucks. You don't have the pictures?
So they get their direction from the cracked mug and they go.
Can we
on
get out of
their-
chapter 6?
Yeah.
Caramon just stomps off into the woods. Right?
After Taz and Boo-Poo literally kick some sense into him, Caramon leaves and then the tavern vanishes.
Well, and but we had the quick drop in here too about as they're in there, and Caramon actually does ask at the behest of Taz, "Have you talked to Taz? Busted. Have you talked to anybody yet?" I was just getting to it. I had to warm these guys up with me having 3 pints before I asked them.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he does ask them, and there's the two rangers in the corner or whatever who are like, "Oh yeah, we saw her. We saw that chick off that back trail that goes out of the side of the back of the end of the way of the field." And so that's why they started going on. And so when they leave, and like you said, Taz looks back, and the inn's gone.
Right. So we're into chapter 7, and we lead off. Michael Williams is back.
Yeah.
He has a little 3 sheets to the wind poem.
This was terrible.
Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna fight. I
Okay.
like this 3 sheets to the wind poem. This is like one of his finest pieces of
Oh,
work.
wait. No, I'm thinking, never mind. No, I like this one. There's another one coming up.
Okay. Yeah. I really like it. I like it. In the annotations, he says he's not sure if 3 sheets to the wind is a common saying. So I was going to ask you guys, have you heard of being 3 sheets to the wind? Because
Yeah.
I did all the time.
3 sheets to the wind. 3 sheets to the wind means you're drunk, but you're not hammered.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I knew that.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a very common saying. Michael Williams wasn't sure if it's common.
Michael Williams.
I had no
Michael
idea.
Williams is
Oh,
his
really?
name.
Michael
Williams is the name of the guy who does these poems.
The poems and the songs.
What?
Yeah.
I'm thinking
we harped on him.
I'm thinking. Okay, here's what I'm going with this, listeners. Here's why I was confused. In my head,
John Williams
kept thinking, because we always talked about these being Michael McDonald songs.
Oh, Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald.
Old Michael McDonald.
Had a share. I'm
Oh,
gonna be now.
Michael McDowell. He's a weird Irish guy. But I've always known what 3 sheets to the wind is. But I like this thing. Weird thing though. Side note. He says to ask in the annotations. He says ask Larry Elmore about the Milwaukee bar waitress with the feathers.
What?
So,
Yeah. Here, let me call up Larry Elmore.
So any of you guys, you're out at the one of the cons. You see old Larry Elmore sitting around. Tell him you're reading old legends and that you'd like to know about the waitress with the feathers at the Milwaukee bar. I don't know what that's about, but I'm sure 3 sheets to the wind has something to do with it.
If one of you find out, just send us.
Let us know.
send us a
I'm
message.
sure people have asked him now after this.
Yeah.
So what is the story?
I say in honor of Caramon, we go to Milwaukee and we go to every bar we can find to try to find the girl with the feather in her.
Who is now 50. So I love it. Caramon, again, just roaring drunk in the woods.
Thinks he's Raceland.
I'm gonna start that on fire. Bad doo.
This really got me.
Yeah, I was starting to think like something was going on.
Yes.
Like Raceland was messing with him, or when he was drunk,
That's what I thought
Raceland
as
could
well.
control him.
Or
Yeah,
I went whole Search for Spock.
I didn't see that.
Search for Spock is
What?
at the end of the previous movie. Spock dies,
Yep.
but he puts his
Spoiler alert, buddy.
Whoa, that's
It's a 30-year-old movie, but he puts his brain into bones. Before that.
the character bones.
Yes.
Not into some literal bones.
No. He puts his character into Dr. McCoy.
Okay.
Or he puts his brain into Dr. McCoy. And so Dr. McCoy keeps having these moments where he's Spock and then he's Dr. McCoy and he's Spock. So I'm like,
That's a good read. That's cool.
when he
That'd be really cool if that's what was going on.
well, and I went,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, is there part of Raceland that's in Caramon?
I like
why,
it.
is what was left of maybe the good part of Raceland in Caramon?
Okay.
And that's why Raceland is over so far on the other side.
Okay.
And so so I read this whole thing where he keeps like channeling Raceland as being like personality defect, or as being like dual personalities in his head for some reason, like we had in the last book with the whole Fist and Dantalist Raceland conversations thing.
Yeah.
See, I was seeing this more as 1 o'clock in an Appalachian family gathering.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Those dwarven spirits will mess you up.
Uncle Ned's just walking around the woods casting spells.
When Uncle Ned gets his way, we just leave him be. Just make sure he doesn't fall
and
down
Auntie
that well.
Boo Boo thinks she can light a fire.
And can we talk about the dwarven spirits just for a second?
Why not? We talk about everything.
He
for
likes
minutes.
Caramon. Caramon keeps drinking the dwarven spirits. I always have this feeling that anything that dwarves are drinking is way It's like the Asgardian brew for humans.
Yes.
Or it's something that
It's real high octane.
it's real high octane,
high octane.
and humans have no business drinking it. So maybe it's like having an absinthe thing going on.
Oh yeah, like it's absolutely.
That's-
Yeah, I like that.
that is, I think, in the description of what they were, Tika talked about how it makes him see things and how it, a while back, I remember reading something about that.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those where he's just imagining fun things.
So we're bumming down the Appalachian Trail.
Taz is super scared that they're in dark and
Boo still
dark and
has
wood.
that rat from about 2-3 years ago.
And a couple lizards.
Yeah.
I love that.
Are we sure it's that rat and not just some other rat?
Well, it was,
that she found
it was
in
her
clothes?
magical rat.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll say it here. It goes kind of towards the end of the book as well. But Boo is used just enough. She's like a spice that just needs to be used just with, you know,
Yes, the garbage train.
conservatively. You need to use Boo conservatively, and she's used just the right amount here, enough
Yes.
to be funny, and then before she gets sickening, she's gone.
Yep.
And it's just a perfect amount of Boo here. You don't want to see too much of
No,
the boop and
you
the
don't.
poo.
You don't.
Just a little boo.
But they find Chrysania. And we learn that Darkenwood is no longer haunted.
Oh, this is actually disappointing to me.
Yeah, a little bit. I really liked that.
Darkenwood is
That was
one of my
the
favorite
best
locations.
part of Darkenwood.
I love Darkenwood.
Yeah,
So-
it's sort of a la Lord of the Rings. The ghosts helped out in the war, and they were freed from their curse.
Right.
And they
yes.
were able to move on.
Yeah.
Come nighttime.
Yes. They're attacked by Draconians.
They are, and it's Chrysania drops the line, "Oh no, Paladine will look over us. Nothing good happens when you say that and you don't leave somebody to watch."
Well, and Taz
Right.
stays on watch.
He does.
He does.
I love the
he's stubborn.
conversation he has with Fizbin. So you're like, I don't know if you remember me, but we're really good friends, and
I'm the one who found your hat.
Yeah. I always found your hat when you were missing it. And you know what? It's not that I don't trust you, but I'm gonna keep a watch. And it's a good thing he does. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter that he does.
I mean, he took
Draconians.
out he took out a few of them.
The Draconians come in.
Boo just yells "Gulp sludge." Yes, that's a good curse. I'm gonna start using it.
Gulp sludge.
You gulp sludge.
Yeah, and I like the lead in here. I think it was just enough of these shadowy figures to all of a sudden we realize they're Draconians.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't go on too long of just being okay. Oh, there's things in the woods and there's shadows and there's things in the woods and there's shadows. It was there's things in the woods and it's shadows and it's scary. And holy cow, it's a Draconian.
Well, at first, too, when they were talking about the shadows in the woods, things like that, I was brought back to when Tanis was saying they were being pursued by the shadows. So I was
Yes.
like, okay, what is this? And then when the Draconians came, I'm like, Kit. All right, I know, Kit.
And I was having real issues that are solely my own because I've been listening to the last podcast on the left way too much, and I am up to my eyeballs in alien conspiracy theories. And now Draconians have a new meaning for me. They are the lizard reptoids that are taking over our government.
Lizard people. Don't trust lizard people.
Lizard people. I'll tell you how to find out if somebody is one. If you
I
wanna
will
know.
say that it was.
Just don't look in my eyes.
And once the Draconians show up, and once we know they're Draconians, I had to walk away from the book for a minute before I finished the fight.
Really?
Because automatically in my head, we're sitting around the fire, everything's really real, and then the bad CGI Draconian walks.
Cartoon. The copy and paste.
Yes, yes.
Why do you all look and move the same?
Oh, that cartoon. Oh, my God.
That was a great cartoon.
Yeah, Caramon's drunk, so he is no help in this fight.
No.
I got this guy.
If it was the nice little shot from the Kender here too. If he was the old Caramon, he would already be up and have killed 3 of them. I guess I got to do it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we have the weird Kender bouncing around killing Draconians, and I just see Yoda from the prequels.
Right. And so now tell me, D&Ders, was I getting just a hint of some dice rolling here? Because
Yes.
at the last moment, right, Chrysania kind of jumps up and does her cleric bit, where
Yes.
she's healing people and stuff. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a D&D thing.
Yep.
Yes.
And again, not detracting. I'm just saying
Caramon's character and his physicality and his drunkenness now put him at his -4. So as soon as he stands up to do the attack, he rolls the dice, and he didn't roll a 1 because he didn't stab himself, but he rolled like a 3 and fell over again.
Oh yeah, he got
Whiffing hard.
He ended up in the negatives with that one.
Yeah, because Taz and Caramon both are sorely injured.
Yeah. Well, Taz catches like something sharp to his head. Chris heals him, gets him back up, And then enter Lord Soth.
Okay, Lord Soth carries such weight with him.
Yes.
I love just the visual even of Soth he is super
He
cool.
approaches you and you're too scared to move, like almost like he has his own dragon
Yeah,
fear
yeah,
about him. Like,
right.
oh god.
And what does he do? He points at Chrysania and says what?
Die.
Okay, what is that? Like a 20? A 20 roll?
Well, actually, she would have to make a will save because he's casting Power Word Death. Or Power Word Die. I can't remember what exactly. I don't know. I play D&D 3.5, so it's probably a different spell. But that's a thing. That's a thing. If you are a dark, powerful, magical being, you can just tell things to die.
Man!
And she fails it.
So my ex-wife was a dark, powerful being.
No. You can... It works when they do it. Yeah, so she falls over. Taz's vision fades to black as we roll into chapter 8.
And this is meant to be, I think, kind of a cliffhanger, right? Like, Chrysania is dead. We've spent a lot of time with her. And now Soth, I mean, you've kind of taken your biggest bad guy that's left over in the Dark Realm, pitted her against Chrysania, and he just pointed at her, said, die, and she collapses. You're like, okay.
She's dead.
She's dead. So now what's going to happen?
And this,
I'm not worried, though.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried because you don't kill off. You don't kill
No, you
off
don't
one
kill
of the
off
main protagonists this early in the book.
No.
Actually, and had they done
Unless
that,
it's
that could have been
2018 and you're going to be edgy, then everybody dies. Nowadays, that's what authors do. You just kill everybody.
So a bunch of good wizard drones show up.
Enter Dalamar.
Yeah.
A Sylvanesti elf of the Black Robes, cast out for using black magic. He's a spy working for, at the time...
He's a dark elf, right?
Yes, a dark elf. A spy working for some unknown group that we learn is the Conclave, a group of wizards in the Tower of High Sorcery.
I like this group.
It's the Executive Council.
The Executive Council of Jedi, yes.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's the Executive Council of Mages.
There's that one big important guy, and then
It's funny you guys say that because in my notes I put these guys were Sith before Sith was a thing. Because this book would have been written before that. I mean, Darth Vader was a Lord of the Sith, but nobody knew what that meant.
But they're not Sith, remember, because in this
there's more than two.
In this tower, all the robes come and work together as long as you're working towards the arts.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this was written back in the 80s before the prequels were out and Sith was a rule of two. There was no rule of two back in the day. Back when we were kids, there was no rule of two, Klab.
Yeah,
it was a lot cooler.
But I'm just saying,
way back. It was cooler way back.
But they're
when
not
there was
all
no
black
rules.
But yes, they're all three color robes, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's whites, reds, and blacks that are all equally
It's that
represented.
balance. It's that balance thing that we were talking
Yeah, the
about.
wizards understand the balance.
Yeah. In this world, you become evil if you try to upset the balance.
As long as you're working towards the advancement of the art.
Yes, this is a giant Kryn douche canoe. Anybody who stands up they get ticked at him.
Dalamar alerts Raistlin to happenings in the outside world.
Which is our stinger.
Which is our stinger.
There it
They
is.
use a scrying spell in a pool, and I guess Raistlin's...
A pool with a blue flame jetting out of it.
Yeah.
Makes it all the cooler.
Yeah,
I know,
and
you found some really cool art.
There is some awesome art out there. Now you're calling me out.
The
I don't
living
have it up
ones.
so I can reference who the artist is. I don't know if it's Elmore or who.
Well,
Very
you
cool.
look it up. You
I
look it
will
up
look it
because
up.
I want to talk about the living things for a
the
minute.
living ones
yes.
and also the dead ones.
And we find out that the living ones are basically these mutations from Raistlin's failed experiments, but they're alive, so he couldn't kill them.
It would be Jeff Easley's Lair of the Live Ones. Go look it up. It is super cool.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
I like to use it as a
yes.
background on my computer, but I can't during school hours because it scares the kiddies.
So what do you have instead?
I have Lord Soth on it. Lord Soth and his army are riding across the plains.
I mean,
Also,
it's
if you're not following Lord Soth on Twitter, you really should.
Yeah, for real.
If you follow us, go and look at who we are following. We follow Lord
It is
Soth.
sad to say in a world that has become so pessimistic and twisted that Twitter is a hard thing to be on. Lord Soth brings a refreshing.
Lord Soth is not the most evil thing you'll read on Twitter.
Just follow Lord Soth.
Oh
He'll
my
be
gosh.
I hope Lord Soth is listening. He's got to listen to the show eventually.
We should tweet out to Lord Soth and say, hey,
I mean,
just listen in.
We are one of the 4 out of
110 remaining Dragonlance fans in the world. So Lord Soth must be listening. We got to band together,
Actually,
people.
I
We
would-
stay strong.
Yeah.
So we get
There's
to
a lot of Dragonlance fans.
There's a ton of
Yes.
draft. I'm making that up.
Okay. So we get to the pool. We're looking in the pool, and we do get, like we did in our stinger, this whole Raceland. Damn it, Caramon. I had a plan. Things were working in the plan. The wheels were going.
Yep.
And your fat, drunken behind just screwed this up.
All you had to do was get her to a tower.
I mean, it is all going according to his plan, but Caramon wants to bury her, and he's like, "No,
Yeah.
no, don't do that."
You can't bury her, you twit.
And okay, so we'll get into it more, but her soul has been separated from her body, so her body's still there; it's still alive.
Right.
No, it's
The
not.
the body is dead.
The body is dead, but Paladine came down and scooped her soul.
Yeah,
right.
Raceland
And did a thing with it, which is coming up later.
Yeah, yes.
What happened?
Raceland made it so that like he cast a spell or something.
Oh, yeah,
to
he made her
make-
start breathing
to make
again.
the body look like it was alive.
he started her organs again.
Yeah.
So it's a shell body, but it's breathing,
A
so that they
a
didn't bury her.
vegetable.
Enough to make Caramon
Yeah.
drunk go, oh,
She's-
I'm not gonna bury
But
you."
it's Boo-Poo puts a lizard on her chest. I love this part. Like, no, me got this. It just puts a dead
And
lizard on her.
I will say that.
And she believes that she brought her back.
Hey,
yes.
Yes.
I will
I
say-
carry around dead lizards.
I will say that I know what this is.
I know what this is, but I don't know if I want to say it.
I know that a thong is a piece of leather.
Oh yeah.
But when they keep describing Boo-Poo's dead animals being held by thongs, I always go,
Totally different.
it's totally
the
different.
lizard's wearing the thong in your mind, isn't he?
Boo Boo's
No,
in a French peep show.
No, it's like Boo-Boo's old weird dirty thong that's wrapped around the tail of this lizard.
Oh my god.
Yep. If this were written in 2018, Boo-Poo would have rubbed essential oils on her.
Yes. You know,
I did it. She was dead. I rubbed a little bit of hayseed extract and some almond milk. And she's alive now.
Oh my gosh.
Would you like to sniff the peppermint, Caramon? It'll sober you up.
She would have the whole box full of the vials. She'd be opening it up. It'd be attached to a thong. I'm sorry.
A frilly thong.
That's totally just on me. That's on me. Listeners' hatred just directed towards me.
Yeah, and it does.
Here, drink this Shakeology, Caramon. It'll sober you up.
If he would have been drinking Shakeology the whole time, he would have never gotten. He should have been in a Facebook group the whole time. That would have been keeping him accountable.
Facebook groups are important.
So it
Do you
appears-
still listen to us, Danny?
That one was for you,
That was
buddy.
for you, buddy.
So it appears Raceland really does.
But he could never mind. I can't keep. Caramon could be posting videos of him and his struggles. It'd be great. Okay.
So it appears Raceland really does still care for Boo-Poo.
I'm broken now.
This is just
I'm now broken. Okay.
He really does, which is I like that juxtaposition of the big, powerful, evil wizard.
Ooh, listeners, note juxtaposition being used not by me.
You're the only one that cares.
I'm gonna use it later.
you, Neil, and Brandon.
I'm gonna. Brendan Guy is gonna be. I think he should.
No, Brandon B.
yeah, Brandon B.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah,
true, that's true.
shout out.
By the way, Brendan Guy put up a great on one of the Dragonlance Facebook pages. A great kind of like.
Love letter to Lorana.
It was a Polarana, and what do you think of her as a general? Which, by the way, if there's one thing that I'm missing from this book, right, Brendan? Where's Lorana?
Oh, thank
in all this.
Oh, no Lorana.
I am missing Lorana.
No Lorana. We already have.
What do you mean, no Lorana?
We already have one rich, spoiled girl. In Chris.
She is a brilliant, hot, but let me say
I
hot.
actually. Where is
general.
Where is she?
Lorana's with the kids.
Yeah, no,
wait, no.
You're thinking of Riverwind Lovejoy. They're back in their hut on the plains taking care of 12 kids.
because Tanis married
Lorana.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Who was I?
They're back at the funeral burying the son.
Burying her father.
And then getting the they're
right.
at the political event.
All right.
right.
Which
Never
is,
mind,
I mean,
never mind.
you should not be pigeonholing what is perhaps the greatest character.
So, Raceland
Thank you,
cares for
Luke.
Boo-Poo, and he also beckons Wayreth Forest to find them.
That's weird.
I love this idea of this forest and how it's moving. Like,
And
like
it makes
no
sense
matter where
that
they
that's
try to
why
leave this
that
glade,
tower and all the wizards were safe from the king.
yeah, they
priest
can
and
move
all
it
that.
around. It's
Yeah.
got little treads underneath it. It moves.
It's magic.
I went with the
Magics.
I went with the big castle from Krull.
The big, yeah. Ooh, good reference. And I want to believe that the wizards take turns up in the high tower. There's just a little joystick that one of them looks out a viewport and just moves. I don't know.
Okay, so a bunch of white
off
wizards
the
show up,
rails.
pick up. I almost called her Lorana. Pick up Chrysanthemum,
Oh,
and
Whoa, let's rewind a second, sir. Chapter 9, Raceland reveals his plans to Dalamar.
oh yes, sorry.
Ooh.
Yeah, we don't want to
He
skip
is
that.
going to... He's going back in time. What the heck did I write?
Gonna
He's
go
going back in
back
time to
in
meet
time.
Fistendantilus.
Yes.
Because he's missing parts of books. He's going back just before the Cataclysm.
And I always wondered about this through the first book when he got Fistendantilus's books. I'm like, really, everything survived the Cataclysm? We have the complete first edition set that somehow survived the nuclear holocaust.
Yeah.
Oh, and here it's brought up, and it's a great little throwback to the other books when he first got these books. Oh, there's volumes that are missing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
And a good portion of the Evil Wizard books are in that tower in Palanthos. That's protected, so that's why they're still there and they're intact.
Right. Chapter 9 is a linchpin chapter. I mean, this is
Yes.
where we
I
really find out about Raceland's plans.
Only confusing part here is he brings up the big iron gate within the tower, and I'm thinking that you have to use the gate to go back in time. This gate here confuses
That's
me.
going to come back. Not going to talk about it.
I had a
But
feeling.
it's a big deal.
a big
So they're bringing it up now, and it's going to be a really big deal later on. Not in this book. Even,
Okay.
In the next ones.
Okay.
But again, I'm going to throw it out again. I've been trying to moderate how much I'm going to throw back to old Mormonism and Christianity. But this is what Hickman is doing again. What I think is smart always is when writing a book that's like this, that has this legendary feel, and I've said it in the other ones, when you throw back to a mythology or belief system that a lot of your audience would, if not on the surface be ruminating around in the back of their mind.
At least have a rudimentary understanding.
Right, so it's striking upon deep chords in a lot of people. And what's going on here is Raceland offers Dalamar all the kingdoms of the earth.
Oh, yeah.
And what's going on here is like when Satan was offering the kingdoms of earth to Jesus. He's tempting Jesus.
On his days in the desert.
On his days in the desert, right? And like Satan, the end game for Raceland is much bigger than earthly wealth, right? And so Hickman, and I don't know how much Weiss had to do with this. I don't reading her annotations, it doesn't seem like she's the one that's picking or trying to put in these Christian references. It seems like it's religious overtones. It's definitely Hickman that's putting a lot of these things in, and I do think it's a smart thing to do. I will say that I'm loving the book all the way through to the end, because when we get, you guys, I guess we could say now, you guys have not yet read part 2.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Of
You were the
book.
only one that has.
Yeah, I've only gone through to part 2. But as you get through to part 2, it is really heavy with the religious overtones. Really. But I don't think if it's not there, you wouldn't know.
Okay.
Right? If, necessarily. But it's really heavy. And I was loving sleuthing all that out. But it might get a little heavy.
Okay.
Right? You know what I'm saying? It could be a part that some people might not love.
What? Heavy. Why do you keep using that word? Is there something wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull?
In 2018.
But so the gate can only be opened by true holy power.
It requires 2. Everybody should be keeping this in their minds. It requires 2 people to open.
Yeah.
One with great power and one with holy power, which is why he's seducing Chrysania, because she is the one with the holy power.
Correct. And to Bob, if you didn't pick this out of here, again, we look at the time period that this was written. We're still in the Cold War time period. This was very much you need the 2 keys to launch the nuclear bomb.
Oh, I love that. How did I not pick that up? Oh, Hammer of Garrus! White Stone Council. It's all in there, guys.
It's all in there,
It's
man.
all in there, man.
The lizard people.
Cold warriors, lizard people, draconians.
The Earth's hollow, bro.
So is the moon.
But yes, but
Hickman was talking to Pleiadians, man.
Oh, man.
now you're just talking gibberish. But I like this, and I like this setup of in order to get, everything in balance. So in order to open the door, in order to get to the portion of great power, you need the light and the dark.
Right.
You need the 2 keys. And, and again, this is you need to put the 2 keys in the hole. You need to turn them at exactly the same time, and then the door will open, or the button pops up, and you can launch the nukes at Russia.
Yeah. You're making it cooler and dumber all at the same time. Like, I love that it's this reference of launching nuclear weapons, but at the same time, now it's not magical. I'm just picturing Raceland and Chrysania shoving keys into a door.
Ready? 1,
Did you bring the keys?
3. Wait. Are we going on 3, or is it 1, 2, 3, and then go?
1, 2, 3, and then go. That's always it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's the beginning of war games. Is what's going on.
After Raceland, after he reveals all this, also reveals that he knows Dalamar is a spy, and he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Well, he cares a little bit. He burns holes into his chest
With his hands.
and then exits on a cool. Give Parcelian my regards.
I love it.
Yes.
I love
Drop
it.
the mic, Raceland's out.
This would be a BA scene for a movie.
God, yeah.
Like, this would just be awesome. So if that dumb cartoon wouldn't have been made, Holly would be looking at this.
Have they ever floated the idea of these?
Yes, I hear somebody is. We talked about this the last time. I don't have the name in front of me. Somebody's
was
constantly
on
floating this in Hollywood.
He was on Critical Role for a little bit. The big guy.
Oh,
That guy.
Colville?
I don't remember his name at all.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm worried about it because Wizards has dropped this as a property. So right now we have a far better chance of getting a Forgotten Realms movie off the ground than we would ever a Dragonlance.
And I'd hate to see this turn into what Warcraft became.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, it was a fun movie.
Well, yes,
It has
but
some good CGI.
it did, but it was just it just didn't work.
Yes.
So yes, and great drop the mic line. He burns holes into the guy's chest with his fingers.
Yeah.
And we're looking at this and again, another little drop of Raceland of the things that are going on and the machinations and the gears that are turning and how he set all these pieces to go exactly here. To the point where I'm waiting for when we get to later in the book, after something happens, or like the old TV show Leverage, or things like that, where you get to that point where you get the flashback scene to all the pieces being put in place.
Yeah,
It's Joe Manganiello, and he's actually sharing a booth with Margaret Weiss at Gen Con.
All right.
Offering out his Dungeons and Dragons street gear, including a specially designed Dragonlance shirt. I'm only going.
We need some of those.
I'm only going through here because friend of the show, PB Publishing, tweeted something, and Margaret Weiss tweeted something back, sort of.
Yeah. By the way, if you're listening to this, if you're not getting PB Publishing stuff, what's wrong with you? Okay.
Oh man, where was it? He said something along the lines like, "Hey, so does this mean that a movie's maybe still in the or something? Does this mean I can keep my hopes up for or my dreams of a movie coming out alive?" And she said, "Dreams more like hopes." Or she said something along the lines of like, "They're working on something."
Okay.
Which was super cool. I wish I could find the tweet. I thought it was on that. It was he replied to a tweet.
As long as it's not another cartoon, I'm happy.
Well, and
by the way, it's really warm in here. But when I get really hot, I like to cool down, and by knowing that I'm wearing MeUndies.
No, they're not giving us any money. Don't you dare!
What is with? Side note. What is? This is the first time. 2 days ago, I was listening to a podcast and heard MeUndies. I promise you, listeners, we will not descend into this stupidity. I hate listening to a podcast when somebody else starts talking about like something like me undies
In the middle of the podcast.
in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, how dare they interrupt the book to start talking about MeUndies?
The only reason I could read through this book is because I was so well rested. Because I slept on the mattress?
I have no idea.
And then I woke up and had my blue apron.
Yep, while listening to my new audiobook that I got.
Using a code from Audible.
Just type in on Audible.
While I was laying on
Dungeons
my purple
and
mattress.
Dweebs / Dungeons and Dweebs.
To be fair,
any of that stuff in.
MeUndies isn't paying us, but I am a big fan of the Duluth Pack men's aficionado underwear, the Give and Go boxer.
We are not going to advertise stuff on this podcast.
Okay, so Caramon whines some more and decides he has hit rock bottom.
Which I love. Again, if you're going to go with that Campbellian idea, it's taken a long time to do. Well, I love
that we went from BSing about underwear to the Campbellian ideals.
Only on Dungeons.
Only on Dungeons and Dweebs. You're amongst friends, listeners. But that you take a character, and again, the sword is being offered to Caramon again and again, right? The hero is at rock bottom. You've put him at home. He's starting in a familiar location, and the sword, his mission is being offered to him again. All he needs to do is take it up, and through chapter 10, he's that reluctant hero. He is not picking up his sword of destiny.
Let me ask you this, Bob. Yeah. Because in the annotations anywhere, is there anything about Weiss or Hickman having something in their lives of dealing with that alcoholic that refuses to pick themselves up?
No, there isn't.
It is very real.
But my guess is
this is written. This is written real,
very real.
And if you've ever dealt with that person, who is that person who feels that they're with depression, with alcoholism, with all of those things, and just can't. No matter how many people around them, or no matter who's trying to get them out of the cycle, and they refuse to bring themselves out of that cycle, or they refuse the help because I'm no good or whatever it happens to be. Caramon is written extremely real, and I have to believe that Weiss or Hickman at some point in their lives dealt with somebody like this, or had a family member or a friend or something, because this is too real not to have. And I'm speaking as someone who's dealt with people in my life like that.
Right.
This is written too real to not have firsthand knowledge of it.
Absolutely.
I agree. And what I think is also huge kudos to them. In the last trilogy, we kind of talked about how maybe it seemed a little bit younger, not younger kiddish, but the writing and storylines. These are definitely more adult themes.
Yes.
Or older.
And maybe that's why I'm having such a better time.
Exactly.
It
is a nice progression from the writing in the other books and the themes that were going on in the other books to the themes of this second
Yet
trilogy.
it never becomes Saturday morning special. They have woven this idea of alcoholism and everything else into the fabric of the story so well that there's never a part where I'm going, okay, and this is the morality lesson being beat over my head.
And I learned something today.
Yeah,
I learned that.
Yes.
Thanks for sitting down and talking with me, Taz. So he's decided he's at rock bottom, and then Weymouth Forest has found them.
Yeah, and this is the part where we talked about before, where the forest keeps moving and all this.
Oh, not only that, it has found them, and it's not letting them go.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which way they walk, they always end up walking towards the tower.
The trees part when they approach and then close
And they
behind them.
they can't walk towards the other parts of the field. Every time they try to walk towards a and the field, and I just have the vision in my head here of almost like a square field. And on three sides you have like the dark regular forest, and then there's the hey, come this way, Or if you're
flashing neon sign,
or
bing,
or if you're playing the video game and you're walking through, there's that big weird light shining from the sky that tells you this is the direction you're
mission
supposed to
marker.
go.
Okay,
The mission marker.
So this is
But you can't go anywhere else. Every time they try to walk out one of the other sides, they end up walking towards the
This
same.
is the only other place in the
Pac-Man around to the other side.
This is the only other place in the book that I get confused. And I have it in my notes. And I read it twice and I didn't really know what was going on. It says, Caramon walks into the woods, right? He has this internal dialogue that we've been talking about hitting rock bottom. And he's inspired by Raceland telling him how easy it is to be a warrior in the spring and summer and fall, but winter, which is actually kind of a parody on Thomas Paine's work in the Revolutionary War, which is really cool. But in winter you dig to the warm heart of the earth. And there's this poem by Williams. And then Taz is there, and it's like
that was the poem that I didn't like.
They're back.
I didn't read
they're
it.
back. It's like they never left. So I don't like. Did he leave? Or
I took it as the.
Or is it all just weird in his mind?
No, I took it as Caramon went. I'm going to go scout. You stay here with her.
Starts walking.
He walks. He disappears into the forest, and the Kender looks around and goes, "Oh, it's been too long. He must be in trouble. I must go help. I bet he wanted me to follow him. Bumpa, stay with her. I'm going to go over here." and then he just like appears as Caramon has just walked into the woods and the woods close around him and he's having this eternal dialogue and all of a sudden the Kender comes bobbing in. You were gone for a really long time, so I figured I would come look for you.
Okay, because then they're kind of like back in the clearing, right? Because these two white robed figures come and take the body of Chrysania.
Yes, and they go back, and I took it as they go back to the clearing to get the body.
Okay.
Okay.
I got confused in that.
As Caramon just started walking and like that
And
entire inner
all
dialogue
happened in his mind while walking towards the opening.
Yeah, all of that happened, and then that was when
he watched it open up, but he never crossed the threshold.
He was getting the confidence to go through that opening, and that's when it was like.
I could totally see Caramon just standing there, mouth agape, having these thoughts.
And he's moving slow motion because he's drunk. I've walked a really far ways.
Actually, by this point, this is that hangover.
Yeah,
this is that hangover where it's just I should be thinking about stuff, but
his head is
I
pounding.
could really use another drink right now.
Yeah,
if I had another drink, then this headache would go away, and maybe I could really hit rock bottom because I'm here again, and where am I, and what's going on, and I could see my belly underneath my armor.
And the last thing we have is Raceland's voice in chapter 10. In Caramon
echoes.
Said, does that include me, dear brother? I can't do
dear brother.
I love that he always uses, dear brother, dear sister. It's always
it's patronizing because he doesn't hold them with any regard,
and that's the point. Is it's so sarcastic?
Yeah,
it's just oh dear.
Yeah,
and the forest all of a sudden becomes very nice. It was very threatening. The white robe people show up. The forest gets nice, and they help them all into the tower.
We come back in chapter 11 with Lord Soth. It's like a rewind in time.
Yeah,
where we see Lord Soth approaching Chrysania and telling her to die.
And this is where I'm kind of getting like it was Raceland that saved her. Paladine didn't do any of it.
No, Paladine took her soul.
Yeah, Raceland
restarted her body.
That's what they they say Paladine took her soul, but when she dies and she goes into black, it's Raceland there that saves her.
Yes, but we're not there yet.
That's this chapter, isn't it?
Oh, is that this chapter? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's falling through darkness and like into death, and Raceland saves her soul. I thought that's what it was. It was him that cast this. It's him that gave her the vision. It's him that saved her soul. This is all Raceland.
But what we did in chapter 11 is we have a flashback. What goes on here, right?
Yeah, of her dying and then her soul falling, right?
No,
maybe
what this is a
further flashback.
So what happened is we never saw when Raceland invited Chrysania to his tower. We didn't see that exchange.
Yeah,
it's
both of these things.
And see, I will agree with you, Luke, because this confused me because I'm like, isn't she on the way to the tower?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden then she dies, and all of a sudden we're in the tower.
This was super confusing because it's her dying, it's her falling, and he catches her. And then all of a sudden,
it's a flashback to when she was visiting.
It's a flashback within a flashback.
That is confusing.
I thought it was just one of those like the moments before you die, the images.
You think back.
Yeah, you
that's
think
what
back.
I
thought that was
well.
hers. Just
and
thinking back.
I didn't take. I guess I didn't take it as a flashback as much as the when something's happening, or when something's happening, she's dying, but quote unquote, her body hasn't hit the floor yet,
and she's reliving something,
and time has stopped, and Raceland has pulled them out of time,
and she's. No, this is what happened when she went to his tower.
She hasn't gotten to the tower. That's where she's going. That's why I was confused.
She has gone to his tower.
No, you're confused like me.
Yeah,
she met with him in Palanthos.
Yeah,
yes.
She met him.
She's going to meet the
other
wizards.
That opening prologue when he's like, "Come to my tower
in 2 days.
and play video games." She went and played video games with him, but we never saw that.
Until
then
now.
she was going to the Tower of Wayreth. And
see,
that's what we're seeing.
I thought she was going to the Tower of Wayreth in order to get her to the Dark Tower.
No, that's what I thought first, and that's not what was going on.
No, it's very confusing.
Yeah, he gave her the little charm to get through the enchantments
to see him.
The other forest,
the evil dark forest.
Yeah, just
past
like
the guy's body hanging.
Just like he did with Ket.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those where this is.
So we are finally seeing what happened when she went there.
Yes.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
That's why I was confused, because does she not know she's dead? And where are we on the spirit plane?
Yeah,
here?
it's a flashback and a flashback.
Because I thought she had to go to for whatever reason. I thought she had, my thinking here, and this is why this is so confusing, is she had to go to the other wizards in order to get the other wizards to transport her to.
Yeah, nope.
Okay.
Nope. But I like this part though, because I'm getting a real Bram Stoker's Dracula off of this.
Dracula?
Did I say Dracula?
You said Dracula.
Yeah,
that's a movie
about a buff
That's a
vampire.
movie you shouldn't download.
But if we look on your computer right now,
it's there in a folder.
Is it there in
in
the
a
back?
folder labeled work stuff. No, just
is it there just playing off to the right as we are here?
The next three are the Hummy.
But
Frankenstein.
now we gotta edit that. Okay, but we have
Luke can beat me on that.
Brand, he won't edit it. Say he's going to. It's going to be in there. Impressions of Bram Stoker's Dracula. I love this. This is where I get to use juxtaposition. Because I love this juxtaposition of Raceland, who is a self-absorbed tyrant, and Cressania, who is a self-absorbed zealot.
Okay.
Yes.
Like they're at opposite ends of this spectrum, yet they're attracted to each other.
And great character building here too, as they're walking in and she's looking around, she's a little freaked out about what's going on because there's like stuff crawling out of the woods and up the path, and she unconsciously takes his arm, and they both have that moment of, "How you doing?" And they keep walking.
Yeah. Although this is not where it happens, but this attraction the whole way through, I find it fascinating. I love reading about it, and Margaret and Tracy, you didn't misstep in any of this, but it's also just very off-putting. I don't like this.
It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be.
That's the whole point. It's supposed to be
like the way
off-putting.
what she does. Like I don't know how to take Cressania, because what she describes about what she's attracted to in Raceland is just very off-putting. Like that. Like he's sallow and he's thin, but he smells of spice, and like all of that. Well, and none of that sounds attractive to me at all.
It's the dark and the light attraction. This is paralleled again after this scene when we have.
It's like when you see that hot girl hanging out with that guy, and you're like, how did that happen?
But this is paralleled again, and again, it's about that balance thing. This is paralleled again a couple scenes later when we have the Parcelian, and I don't remember her name, but the head of the Dark Witches. The head of the Dark Mages.
Oh, yeah. She's coming up. She's in my...
Oh, yeah.
And
Donna.
Who they had a little thing back in the day. Yeah.
And so I like the balance here. And I like the fact that she's attracted to the power. He's different.
Well, this is happening all the time. These dark mages and light mages are just banging all the time in these towers. They're just constantly getting together.
What do the red mages do then?
They watch.
Bring balance.
They bring balance. They just record it. They bring it to old pervert Astonus.
Not only are they neutral. Mages. They're neutral mages.
They're eunuchs.
There you go. Anyways, but no, I
write everything that happens, bring it to me.
And as much
care of Astonus.
And even Raceland at this point had Jesus. We get this one point of Raceland here too when she touches his arm, of Raceland going, "I usually don't like I usually can't stand people touching me, but I kind of like her hand on my arm."
Yeah. I love what I think is a smart decision is that they made Raceland
vulnerable as well to her. Not as much. Like you find that he's constantly warring against that, and he's trying to kick against.
Oh, he's still got
that.
his plan.
Yeah, and he's gonna still use her. He's like, I love you, but I'm gonna use that love.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
still have my plan, but this is nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait,
And he
did
does
I just say
share-
this is nice? I don't ever feel anything nice.
And he does share his plan with her.
Yes.
Actually, we do get, when they get there, Dalamar's there, and that's also kind of like, okay, like another off-putting thing. Like, wasn't he just told to leave, or like, what's going on?
What I love is the subtle.
He's the butler.
Yeah.
What I love is the subtle twisting of things, because Chrysania is such a zealot that she believes that Paladine has sent her to stop him, And then he's like, yeah, but what if he really sent you to help me?
Because
like
his plan is to defeat Paladine's greatest enemy.
He takes everything she believes in and skews it just slightly to keep her with him. And I love that he's brilliant.
And
which again, the writing in this book is so light years ahead. Like as far as the plot and the dialogue and what characters are doing, it's like light years ahead of what the other book was.
And we have to remember who Chris is at this point.
Yes.
Chris she was the rich girl brought up to be the rich girl, brought up to be, have all the social, essentially royalty. Essentially she was a princess, brought up with all the manners, everything else, and then she instead of getting married, she made the decision to devote herself to Paladine and become like the head nun, basically.
Right.
So she really doesn't have. She's like you've said, she's a zealot so far to that side, but she really doesn't have real world experience with anything.
Yeah.
She's been able to rise through power through her grace and through her princess and queen training. She was trained to be a queen from birth.
Right.
She's just a queen now in the church.
Right, exactly.
But she's really never had to deal with anything real, which is why which is why Raistlin is able to do that twist of, oh, but what if this?
Right.
Oh, nobody's ever asked me a question like that before.
Yes.
No, nobody's ever questioned me before.
And what Raistlin will do is he'll use her own ideas of goodness and what is right against her. Like, you have been raised to believe all these things are right, but what are you in the church, in the temple, even doing about the poor that sit outside the front gates?
Oh, and what a social commentary this trip is.
Yes.
What a social commentary this scrying trip is as he flies his drone over the poor neighborhood that's right behind the church.
Yeah, right, exactly. Which, again, I'm going to throw that out as being, that is Hickman. Really, I really think he's trying to lambaste the Catholic Church on this one. If you're Catholic and reading this,
you live in your
you're gonna be ticked about Hickman because he is.
You live in your walled city.
Yes.
And what about the people that are out? What about the people directly outside that wall that you can't see because you have all the walls around the Vatican?
Yeah. Once you start reading into what Hickman is really saying, it almost gets hard to read sometimes. Just because, we've got the Discs of Meshikel, which are really, the Books of Mormon, and all this stuff. And really what he's making the statement a lot of times on is that, real religion has to be more real world and not this stringent, stiff edifice that, like, the Temple of Ishtar is.
Whether it's religion, whether it's any sort of pietistism, that asks, oh, you're so good, and you give, and you do all this charity work, and you do this, and it's this lambasting, like you said, against the church, against the wealthy, against you may be a good king, or you may be a very good leader,
right?
But there are still. Crap's still out there.
Oh yeah.
We have not reached this perfect, wonderful utopian world. There are still poor people. There are still drug addicts. There are still all of these different things that go on with the homeless and everything else. Right. And we can even see that in 2018 in our lives around the world.
And I think Hickman will ride the line of going almost too far in his deriding underneath this of the Catholic Church. When we get to part 2, when we meet the king priest, he will be very much a evil pope, and so much so where he will take that kind of mythology that
Pius
goes.
II?
Yeah, where he'll take that mythology that there's a lot of Protestant groups and
Hey,
stuff.
why don't we save that for book 2?
No, I gotta say it.
Okay, you guys been talking about religion for 20 minutes.
Think about Antichrist.
I just want to say one thing to to the point you just made. I've read one chapter into the second book.
Yes.
And I'm already getting that vibe. One
Yes.
chapter, and I immediately got
Yes.
the vibe that you had.
Well,
Yes.
and
That's it.
I'll say this right now, and then we
Yes,
can move on.
yes.
When we're doing the flyby of the poor neighborhood,
Yeah.
first thing that pops into my head too is it's an old Sam Kinison bit about watching the Suzanne Summers send food to Africa thing with the flies that are on the kid's face as he's sitting in there. And I know the film crew could give the kid a sandwich.
Yeah, right.
But it is that idea of you say you're doing so much, but you're right there and you're not doing
and
anything.
they are wealthy. This temple, I mean, they have money. Yet they aren't.
Well, the church is always.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, not the church. It's for the good work.
Yeah, exactly.
The tithing.
Yeah.
So we get to hear a little bit more of Raceland's plan to defeat Paladine's greatest enemy, but we don't get to hear all of it.
I was going to say
No.
we don't get to hear all of it.
I like that.
And then there's a
I
lot
do.
more flirting going on.
I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with what is Raceland's end game here.
Yes.
I mean, I know what it is by the end of book one, but I'm like,
Right.
but right now, what is Raceland's? What is he trying to do? Is he gonna kill the gods? Are we going Red Rising here, where we're breaking into Olympus? What's going on
I
here?
was going to say, I'll be honest, as soon as I heard that he, with Kitiara, when him and Kitiara were talking and he was like, I don't care about the world, that immediately made me go, okay, he wants to take over the gods. He wants to be a god. That immediately showed that to me what his plan was.
And
so
see,
I
I
figured
had the
that.
bum moment in the next chapter when we get to Dalmar in front of the thing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think that it was as much of him even caring about the gods as much as I'm going to open this door and I'm going to be above all of this. And I'm going to go into this other, I'm going to enter the magic plane and be one with everything.
I will enter the Forgotten Realms.
Yes.
This is how they link the two worlds. So are we into chapter 12?
We are in chapter 12.
The
Caramon,
Towers of
Taz and Bupu meet before the conclave.
Which this again, another way that with our current technology and CGI and everything, this scene would be so cool.
Really,
just them walking around the tower
Just
and everything.
them walking around in this dark room and like, why are we here and what's going on? And then all of a sudden, poof, the chairs appear.
Yep.
Right. 21 stone chairs.
One empty.
Yes. With black, red, white cloaked figures.
Yep. Dalmar also
In the center,
enters.
Chrysania is laying in white linen.
I missed that, actually.
Yeah.
The entire...
Oh, tell me that's not the Virgin on the altar.
Virgin on the altar. Yeah. If she's... I won't lie. At the beginning of this book, they're saying Chrysania is a Christ metaphor. I actually don't get that at all. I don't know what, unless this is her laying in the tomb covered in white linen. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I don't know what this is supposed to be. But okay, I'll go with the fact that this is a Christ metaphor. But Dalamar appears, says that Raceland is planning on becoming a god.
Yes.
This is where we get that hint.
I don't know if we believe you. Believe this, and he rips his robe aside like they're still smoking in his chest.
Yeah. You could have just opened your robe. I don't know why you ripped it.
Which, you know what? At this point, I'll go with this. That would convince them. But I don't really know what like fiery fingerprints in your chest convinces you that you have the power that you're striving to become God.
Because he didn't pull burning hands or something like that.
It's like burning hands, the last spell level before you become God Mage of D&D.
Well, it's that step before you pull the heart completely out and talk about moldy rum.
I was just gonna say Kalima. Moldy rum.
Moldy
Can
rum.
you get drunk?
Actually, we get something that has been talked about since the Trilogy of the Lance. Parcelian reveals what actually happened to Raceland in the test.
Yes.
And admits to forgetting about Fistendantilus, when he was taking the test. And we also learn a little bit more about Fistendantilus, how he
learned to cry.
Yeah, he found a way to hide among the gods in their realm.
He could cross the threshold between God and men. And that's kind of the key. Right there. Yep. It's the first time that the full plan here kind of Raceland.
And so when Raceland took his test, Fistendantilus had his opening, and that's how he's in Raceland's body somehow.
Yeah. I would still need to sit down with Brendan Guy and have him explain to me. Hash it out. What is going on between Fistendantilus and...
Yes, please.
And for some reason, my mind here went to that stupid Senate scene
Star Wars.
in 3 when
I am the Senate.
when Palpatine is talking to Vader about the Sith that was able to cheat death.
Oh God.
I know this. Crap. Somebody the Wise.
I have no idea what
But yeah, I went to there and I'm like, wait, so he's been able to cheat death on another plane.
Have you heard this? Have you heard the story of Fist and Dantalus the Wise?
Yes. I
Him
know
and Rayson are sitting there
horrible.
watching some sort of bubble creatures swimming into things.
Intergalactic
save Chrysania.
Cirque du Soleil. but that's what I jumped to is, the dude found a way to cheat death that didn't require him keeping his body.
Yes.
Yeah. He ascended.
Darth Pelagius the Wise. I had to Google it.
Which actually, I will tell you, I read that book in canon.
You said they're really good.
No, it's dry.
Oh, really?
It's dry. It's all political. It's all Senate scenes.
Okay, well, forget that.
Those books can just burn.
I don't
burn
care
those.
about. I know I wouldn't say that because I know there's lots of people. I've never read them, but there's people who really like those books.
Really?
But I guess again, there's Star Wars for everybody. So if
Okay,
you're really
okay.
into politics in a galaxy far, far away, I guess.
Yes.
Creating.
But no, but that. What a neat idea about and that's something that's been around forever.
Yes.
This idea of how we as human beings, you as human beings, you're so scared of your mortality.
Yes.
I'm immortal, but
yes, we
Hey,
know this.
I am not a human. I'm a lizard man.
fair enough.
A reptilian.
Oh, sorry.
Or draconian.
I have yet to listen to that podcast.
I was
Pleiadian
and Tauri.
I
was born in 1592 in the Highlands of Scotland.
And I am immortal.
There could be only one.
So Caramon offers to go back in time.
Thanks, Luke. We appreciate the. Let's get it back on track, Luke.
Sorry.
Yeah, Caramon offers
Luke's
to go
gonna
back
bring
in
a whip one of
time
these
to
days.
kill Fist and Dantalus so that race can be raced again.
Can I just say right now,
No, you can't.
why can that song be so cool in the
I don't
beginning
even know what
and
that song is.
totally derail halfway through? Born to be kings.
Yeah, how dare any entertainment derail?
It derails.
Yes. Luke's,
You hypocrite!
coming in for book 2, Luke's bringing a spray bottle, and we're gonna be like,
We're gonna get
cats.
maced.
Every time.
It's
No.
just
go off track.
water. It's just
No.
water.
No. Psst.
Ah. No, that would damage the mic. He'll get like a zapper. Since we're already soaking in sweat, it'll just be a little zap. Zap.
So chapter 13, Luke.
Chapter 13. After Caramon offers to go back in time to kill Fist and Dantalus.
Yeah, we're still in this chamber of the wizards. We're still here.
Parsalian is all about sending Caramon back, but the rest of them ain't having it. Especially I think it's the red robes that are, the black and red are just super against. The white robes are all.
White robes are like, okay.
Well, sort of. I don't, because it's dropped a little later on that he will have to change the color of his robes after he does this.
I did not get that.
It's just a little dropped line from LaDonna.
I thought it was.
Or he says it to her.
It
He's
was.
like, I spells off. Changing my robes will be stained after this.
I was gonna say I heard that, but then at one point later on, I read in that it was like you removed that red stain of blood from your robe.
You put a light bulb on in my head.
And
keep that in mind for part 2.
Okay.
Something happens. What does this mean?
Okay.
That's what that means.
It was.
And
I read that, and it was that removing of the red stain.
Later on, I went reverse Lord of the Rings, where he's going to go from because he's not really going to be red. So I went, is he going to go from Gandalf the White to Gandalf the Grey?
Parsalian the Grey.
Because there are drops about his robes turning his robes being close to the gray in his hair.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool.
And this is where we get the owners of the towers are the only ones who know the time travel spell.
Right.
Yes.
Parsalian,
the Grand Pumbaa.
yeah. So Parsalian and Raceland are the only two beings
who have access because because they have the magic keys that open the magic chest that you can get into the magic book, and you can't read the magic book unless you are the High Pumbaa.
Yes,
And you
with
know
the
the magic
password
words.
and
Yes.
the weird little projector thing.
I thought I thought the old school projector was cool.
Yeah.
I just thought like that for me was was when the teacher wheels up the old school projector to the front of the room and flips it on and then has to focus
The
it for a
overhead.
minute.
Yeah,
The
I
overhead.
love that.
So
But
it's
the long and short of it is, right, the council is up against a wall. They're being manipulated by Raceland, right? They don't know what to do. So they're like, Caramon, Chrysania, we're going to send you back in time.
Yep. But we're not going to send Tass or Beeboop.
Well,
beep boop.
and
Tass
never
speaks
know her
up
name.
here, and I love this because it's totally Return of the Jedi. She's like, yeah, Chrysania, I got a letter here from her. Says she thinks they're still good in them. He can be.
Yep.
And this is where we get Bupu's purpose, why she was
Yes.
brought here, and this relieved a lot of my like. Oh, okay, so it's just to convince the wizards. It's
Yeah.
not to bring Raceland back to the side of the
No.
light.
yes, and I looked at this right away too after she gave her little heartfelt, broken English barely
He called me
speech.
little one.
He called me little one. I'm like, oh, good. That means we can get rid of her.
Yeah.
Well, she'll still be there, but
you
we'll
know what?
just be back
She's
in
done
time.
just enough time. This is the
Yeah.
perfect time to get rid of her.
Yep.
We don't have to worry about her anymore.
Yeah. So they go through this. They eventually make the decision that they're gonna do this,
Yeah.
and
And in fact, this to prove that this is the enough of Bupu is when she has her little speech here about race. I kind of skimmed it.
Well, when Bupu was talking.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just kind of skimmed over. I'm like, I know what she's gonna say. Don't care.
it wasn't bad.
Like it wasn't. But it kind of proved to me, to my own self, that you know what, Boo Boo has reached the end of what I need her to do for me.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Very-
so
very
this,
true.
this is a perfect place for her to end because I'm skipping what she's saying right now.
Yeah.
So I know it's okay. Yeah.
If she was in there anymore, you would just be
Yeah,
it
then
would reach
would
that
be too
annoying
much.
phase.
Yeah, it would be reaching that annoying part. So Caramon agrees to go back in time. There is dissension among the wizards.
It's
And, and Parcelion is like he's already knows he's going to do it. He started preparing this spell.
A long time ago.
Yeah, because it takes days to do this thing.
Yeah, this is the Moonchild ritual.
Hey. A little less pervy.
Well, we don't know what Parcelion was doing. But anyway, they
chapter-
bamfed them all the way to a cozy room to await the decision. We are in the last, we got 3 chapters left.
Yeah.
So, in Parcelion's study, he has a meeting with LaDonna. That is
LaDonna, yes.
LaDonna and Justarius.
And I like this. I like this a
beautiful.
lot. It's
60-year-old woman.
beautiful old woman though. It talks.
Oh, yeah.
Talks about
Because she's like the girl from Tangled's mother who just like makes herself young all the time.
No, I went more like Helen Mirren here.
Oh, Helen Mirren's so fine. Yeah.
How can you not think Helen Mirren's attractive?
I just said she's fine. That's what I just said.
Sorry, I thought you were being sarcastic.
No, I'm not being sarcastic. Her work in Caligula was fantastic.
So Parcelion's
Sorry.
really old. We get a little bit of the history between Parcelion and LaDonna. Justarius pops out of the shadows like, oh, I just wanted to see what you were gonna say.
Like
and I like
You're
and
not
I
wrong.
like
the Reds really do just sit there and watch.
They do. They record everything, and Astinus is just bring it to me.
and I like
for my hard drive collection.
Yes, and I like the fact that he brings up here too about the, haha, both of you didn't know I was there, and she's like, yeah, I didn't know you were there, and he's like, and Parcelion is just like, I knew you were there.
Because I'm so sneaky, I knew you were there the whole time.
Yep. You know what I love? There's a different take on the flow of time here that doesn't get used a lot. Whereas, like, see, Back to the Future, it's like
I was hoping you were gonna bring this up.
Yeah, you send something back and it creates these unending ripples that change everything. Where instead you have this analogy of a river with 2 pebbles being thrown into it. It doesn't alter the course of the river.
And this is time travel is something I love to talk about.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
it doesn't alter the course of the river, but it can alter the course of the pebbles.
Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Read it. Listen to the show.
Doctor Who.
Yes.
Doctor Who.
Doctor
Right
Who. There are times that are set. You can't throw
Fixed
a boulder
points.
into the river.
All right.
But so you can't change the course of the river, but you can drop these little pebbles here and there that are going to change pebbly things.
Right. Yeah. Which I like that take on the idea of
Ripples
time.
of pebbles don't change the flow of the river.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's about what it came down to.
And that Taz shouldn't go.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
as soon as
Kenders
he
can't go.
projected this, as soon as he projected this description of the spell, and it talked about you can only send these races, and you can never send these races. I'm like, oh, Taz is going back.
Yep.
As soon as the Kender,
that happens.
as soon as the Kender was named as you do not send unoriginal races back in time.
And it talks about how like what the gully dwarves and the Kenders were like accidents of nature or something. Like,
dwarves
dwarves too. Yeah.
And so so as soon as that came up, I'm like, oh, Taz is going to figure out a way to be in there.
Oh yeah, he'll find a way.
And I love the time crunch too because they know Raceland's going to do it soon.
Yep.
And
Tomorrow.
Like, okay,
the clock is ticking.
All they have to do is they have to send Caramon back before Raceland leaves. If the second he leaves, he can already screw everything up and like just pop back immediately.
Again, a brilliant thing that both Weiss and Hickman are doing here, or whoever thought of this, is here to the end of this book, there is that ticking clock that they set up.
Yes.
We have to get there. They will do it in the second one as well, the second book as well, where there's this ticking clock that happens. It's
in the Istar of old.
In the Istar of old. But the decision is made. There's a lot of gobbledygook here, right? They have the Staff of Fistendantilus, and LaDonna casts a spell of seeing on it, and they use keys to open boxes and spell books.
And
Okay,
also,
so
you
here's
also
the thing.
cannot stop the cataclysm.
You can't, no.
Because that's a set point.
Many Bothans died to bring them that information. There's something about like the price to learn this lesson was
you can't stop the cataclysm. We tried.
Yeah, trust me, we tried.
And
the moon is round, not flat like a plate. I didn't know it then. I know it now. Just a little Easter egg for the listeners. Just the woman who played Mon Mothma in Return of the Jedi did not know when making that a moon was round, and only later, when with friends, and it was explained to her, did she realize that the moon was round and not flat like a plate.
Hey man, if that's what you believe.
You're sick. No. It is 1983. She is like 30-something years old. She is doing a scene in Star Wars, and she does not know that the moon is round.
Hey man.
She thinks it's flat like a plate.
Flat like the Earth.
Mon Mothma should not have let anything.
Now I'm going to spray you two.
Okay, well, sorry.
I want to ask your opinion on this on this little drop that was in here. Because I think they're talking about, well, how do we know that if Racing was successful or if not? And Parcillion talks about, well, that is the staff of Fistendantilist. Here's the seeing orb that lets you see who owned the staff. But they never tell us who she sees, but that convinces her. Who do you think she sees holding the staff?
That's a good one.
You think it was Raceland?
That
makes sense.
That's where I jump. Because they never tell you who she saw.
That's true. That's very
but
true.
she looks at the owner of the staff and goes, all right, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Buckle up. So they send him back. Chapter 15. Taz, Bupu, Caramon. They're all sitting around.
Oh, yeah, also, Chrysania is not coming back. That is in their plan. They have one return device and they're giving it to Caramon.
Yes.
Sacrifice.
Oh my God! I can't talk about anything with this.
That's okay.
You're
sacrificing the virgin.
Hey.
Yes, which will be used. Racing will use this to help turn her. Right? Like they have sent you to die.
Yeah.
Right. Like that is what you use to turn somebody.
Yeah.
You think
Back to chapter 15 or forward onto 15.
Onto Dawn. Forward.
We're talking about time travel. We can use back and forward as much as we want.
Yeah. We've only got 2 chapters left before the end of the book.
15's nice and quick.
Not where.
Everybody goes to bed. Tasselhoff goes exploring.
Of course he does.
Absolutely.
Kender thieving journey. I liked it.
He just keeps going into rooms and stealing stuff.
Yes.
Accidentally pocketing.
Oh no! I mean, they obviously left this on the table on accident, and when I find out whose it is, I'll give it back to him.
And this was on the floor, and then I'm gonna take this, and look, this is, I like this ring. Oh, this ring is pink. I had a ring once, but I hope if I put this one on, it doesn't say stuck to my finger like the last one did, because that was the last giant ring. And when I was with dragons, and then there was it.
I love being like getting to be tasked for a night.
I agree.
That was fun.
And task again, and that is used enough here too, where it doesn't get sickening.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's just we get a quick little flight of being,
and it's funny
of being Taz running around here, and all this stuff that's going on in his head with everything, and then we go back to being serious for a long time and dealing with other characters, and then even though Taz is present, and he still says things, and we still bop to him every now and then. We don't go on these big long journeys all the time.
It is the perfect level of humor. I mean, we're dealing with some really heavy stuff about religion and everything else, and then all of a sudden there's this levity of Taz, and it's used just enough and perfectly sprinkled in.
There must be balance.
Yes, and in fact, something that's really crazy that Taz puts on a ring and turns into a mouse. When just saying that sounds like, oh God. Really?
Well, and so
but it worked.
Let's walk through this quick.
Yeah.
He's headed back to his room and he hears voices in the room.
Yeah. So he sees that Justarius is going. It sends Boop like his bamping.
It's
back.
so funny too. Like, where are you?
I love that conversation. Where's your home?
Home. Where the high bulb is. I don't know who the high pulp is. High bulb!
Where's
Fudge? The Fudge guy.
The first.
Fine. So where's the high bulb? High bulb's at home. Where is home? Where the high bulb is.
I don't know.
He works it out.
What do other people call it?
It sounds like Scroth.
Scroth. Yeah. And then he has to think back to what.
And then he's like,
Zach
Saroth.
Just
get out of here.
Zach Scroth. Yes, we're the high bulb. Like he just doesn't even finish the sentence. He just gets rid of her.
But Taz gets really like concerned about this because he's here to help Caramon. He's going to help Caramon. I'm not going to get bamfed home.
Yeah.
Right? So he's going to go help Caramon. And this is when he finds this ring.
Yeah, so he has the ring.
Or has it in his one of his pockets.
In his pockets. And so he takes out the ring and he goes, and he has a conversation quick with Fizzbomb.
Yeah.
He has a quick conversation with Paladine.
I love that. Because Taz, I think he's like innocent, so he has a very nice prayer relationship.
Well, I like his conversations he has with God.
I love it. Yeah, it's just very organic and real.
It is.
Yeah, he's talking like every day to God.
If you could make me invisible again, make this work to make me invisible, that'd be cool. And so he puts the ring on.
Oh my God! I made the tower big.
Yeah, I made the tower big.
Yeah.
And at first, I thought he like Ant-Man'd himself.
Yeah. Taz is like Hickman's take on a Pentecostal. Woo! He'd be in church, just like arms in the air, woo! Falling over.
What am I talking? What am I talking about?
What am I talking? He'd be speaking in tongues first. Okay, sorry.
So Taz is a rat. Justarius.
Mouse. He's a mouse.
He's a mouse. He turned out he's not a rat.
I went with a rat. I immediately went with a rat.
I saw mouse because Taz doesn't turn into a rat. He's not a rat.
I just went with familiar.
What?
When he said familiar, I immediately went to
Oh.
my D&D rat familiar.
They don't have mouse familiars in D&D?
I don't think so.
No, it's a rat.
He's a mouse.
You're a mouse.
I know he's a mouse.
It says he's a mouse.
It says he's a
I'm
mouse.
good with anything.
You just jumped over and you just whitewashed.
And I like
probably did, yes. Yeah, that is
we have these
he
very
had a tail. He's a mouse or a rat. I didn't care.
We have these very intelligent mages. To be a mage, and this dude is the head of the Red Order.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy, but he walks out in the hallway and the first thing he does is go, "Oh, who did you escape from?" And he picks him up by his tail. Well, I know you can talk. You wouldn't be in this tower if you weren't familiar. And he's holding him up by the tail and like pointing at him. And,
Gosh, I hope rats speak common.
yes, exactly. And, well, I guarantee you the head of the Red Order speaks rat, if not.
Yeah.
I it's my night off. I went for a walk. You know there's cat familiars around here, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you belong to? And he pulls his name that Raceland said like in like the 3rd chapter of the 1st book.
Yeah.
I'm his. Figures he'd have one of you.
Yeah. It's an ongoing joke.
And then he puts him in the Crown Royal bag on his side.
While he's in there, Justarius takes Caramon to see Parsalian as he's almost done with the spell.
And very interesting drop here because Caramon talks about, oh, well, I need to get my sword and my armor. Your current time period clothing can't go back through the time bubble. So you'll appear, the spell's set up so you'll appear in time period clothing.
Yeah, Weiss and Hickman definitely set up so that everything is fixed. They're going to be in period
Yeah.
clothing.
Yeah.
They're able to communicate with each other.
Do you think?
If they're going to be in period clothing, there's a reason why they didn't just use this to stop the cataclysm. You know,
It's all set up.
And Bob,
it's a beautiful house of cards.
Bob, I'm going to hold you because you know this already.
Yeah.
Paul, be careful and don't ruin this, and just let Luke and I talk about this for a minute.
All right.
If you know this already.
Okay.
Because I have this vision of of him appearing in the past in like the Terminator time warp bubble.
Nude on
No, fully clothed. We talked about clothes.
Yeah, okay.
But is he going to appear like I have this vision of what I'm predicting is going to happen once he appears in the past. that he's going to appear in like time period armor and stand up, and it's going to be old Caramon.
Oh.
Huh. Real?
No.
Like there was some spell to like like the ultra fit spell, like the what's the Bowflex spell or something.
Spell.
I'm now realizing that my intro speech has nothing to do with the first part of this book. About glistening abs. But okay.
But that's okay.
No,
So
he's gonna come down. It'll be like the what's the thing from Thor? The
Bifrost.
The Bifrost. Yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing that because there's light shooting up from the ground. So
it's interesting.
Yeah.
What I do think was really good about this writing is that this entire time travel gobbledygook stuff. They've fixed all kinds of stuff, and the actual event itself is being done third person through Taz as a mouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which can't see everything.
Which erases a lot of the weirdness. If it was an actual scene of them sending everybody back in time, there'd be all kinds of holes you could poke into that.
Yeah. What does it look like?
What's
happening?
going on here? No, it's just all kinds of kind of fuzzy through the perspective of a mouse.
So, anyways,
which is really a good tactic.
Who's trying to
in doing
hide
this.
and try to get to him at the same time.
So it keeps a lot of mystery and fuzz in that scene. That is necessary.
So by the time they get up to Parcelian's lab, Taz has chewed through the bag, set himself up so that he can drop out quick and follow Caramon, because he'd be damned, he's going to go and take care of Caramon.
Yeah.
Open the door, Caramon walks in, Taz
and you
mouses
can't
himself
bother
in.
Parcelian. If he messes this up, he's going to start over, and it's going to take like 4 more days.
And we're all screwed because Raceland's already there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so the spell starts getting done and stuff's happening, right? And
I like reality kind of starts to shift a little bit, and he just like
I'm getting in there.
Pulls the ring, sprints in there, and
I'm going.
Yeah, and it's like Parcelian sees a Kender jump in, and they're gone. He's like, oh shoot!
I just sent a Kender back, and I have the picture of like when he pulls off this ring. I don't know if he dropped the ring or if he kept it in his hand, but it's almost like he
That's
pulls
all
off.
that's left.
It pinks out, and it's just Parcelian standing there with the ring, like just. Spinning on the floor.
And I just sent a Kender back
papers in his lab, like just kind of like floating down from the wind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God! I sent a Kender.
And
back
if Peter Jackson were directing this, it would be expanded. This would be where this movie would end, or whatever, or at least this DVD would end, and it would.
Yes,
end
that would be it. It would be, oh my God! I just sent a Kender back in time. Black screen.
Black screen, yeah. And I would be losing my crap in the theater, because this would be a fantastic place to end it, and has set up just the right nuggets for next time.
So this is a fantastic place for us to end.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Here for us to talk about this. We'll do a little final talk. However, I need to get another drink from that Buxom barmaid over there. So let's do that right now, and then we'll come back and talk about our final thoughts.
Good idea.
Let's do that.
All right. Hey, honey, come back over here. I will take another of those Nabooian apple brews, please.
Tell you what, my turn to buy.
So we've got our final round here. I think it's time for some final thoughts on Book 1 of Volume 1 of the Dragonlance Legends. Time of the Twins, starring
the Jenner girls.
Kylie Jenner as Chrysania. Anyway, why don't we, Bob? Why don't we start out with you? Let's switch things up a bit.
Let's switch it up a little bit. Boy, coming back to Dragonlance has been so much fun, and it's got me back into the universe in a big way. Reading a lot of side novels once again in the universe. Nerd. But yeah, I really enjoy this universe. Again, in Chronicles, I was Mr. Naysayer.
Same.
In a lot of places. And back then we were doing, if you haven't been with us for a while, we were doing star ratings or out of 5 something. Mm-hmm. And we're not doing that anymore. We're just doing, strong recommend, weak recommends, whatever. The Chronicles are something you have to read to get to these. If there's one thing that I'm missing from this book, they're not as...
A Plan from Tanis.
They're not as... Well, I'm missing that.
The Hammer of Karis.
Dragons. I mean, this is Dragonlance, right? This doesn't feel as
big and expansive dragons, orcs. Well, they have draconians. Whereas I think Chronicles threw everything that is Dungeons and Dragons kind of mythos into the blender, and it became very vaporous. It was like an awesome skeleton, awesome bones, but wasn't filled in enough. This one is really tight. The storyline, the storytelling is extremely tight. And I don't have any nits to pick, except that then along the way, this feels very, especially, and I'm talking because I know what book 2 is like. This starts feeling very like Romanish, it's not so much medieval high fantasy feeling as it is, we're getting kind of very Roman and Greek feeling, right down to where we're more with like minotaurs and things like that. Not really dragons and some of that fantasy stuff. So I think there's a group of people who maybe missed that, might like the Chronicles more. But man, I really like Legends. Really strong storytelling. I think the narrative is strong, it's robust, it's layered, it's nuanced, fully developed characters. I have no problems with Legends. So far, out of everything we've read, probably my favorite of everything I've read in terms of how good the writing is. That being said, it's going to shock people who have followed us from the beginning to hear this. I do probably maybe get more enjoyment on like a weird base level of reading like Dragons of Autumn's Twilight. Like I had all kinds of ridiculous problems with it, but I love those books. Like you know how like when you're in the universe and you love something, you have the ability to just pull back from it and pick all kinds of nits with it, right? Like just like I love me Star Wars. And I go with it and I love it, but I could go pull back and pick all kinds of things apart about it, right? I really enjoy the Chronicles, especially Autumn's Twilight. I just love all those characters, even though there's too many of them. But I love the Legends. I love this first entry. Super strong. Can't wait for part 2. Luke, what do you think about this?
Dragonlance. Time of the Twins. Dragonlance Legends Volume 1, Book 1. I'm having a lot of fun. Same thing with you, Bob. It was a thought in my head, because I did not recommend the original trilogy.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad I read it now. It's like, I had fun for the most part. It had too many holes for me. There's too much going on. But all of that, and that's a lot of world building to go through for this payoff. But so far, halfway through this book, it's paid off. I'm having so much fun, and anything with an evil wizard is just gonna get me. We brought up our D&D campaign that 3 of us are in. I am an evil wizard in that campaign, and I'm drawing inspiration from Raceland, which I liked Raceland. I love magic. I love fantasy worlds. I'm having way too much fun reading this book. It kept me up late a couple of times. And the analogy I used with you guys outside of the podcast was it was like watching a TV series on Netflix. Like, okay, just one more chapter. Just one more chapter, then I'll go to bed. Okay, just one more. Okay, well, I guess, it's just a continuation of the previous chapter. I'm just going to read one more. And then, we're back to Raceland. I want to see what Raceland's up to. Just one more chapter. Just one more. Come on. 2 a.m. I got to work the next day. It's like, come on. But... it's been, probably since Red Rising, that a book has done that to me.
Right.
And I love it. I love the community. I love everybody who came out a year ago to listen to our as we learned how to record a podcast and everything, right. And tried to figure out who we were as a podcast. The community's been great. There's been a couple of people that have been kind of honest, like, well, why are they reading these books if they hate them? Well, we're reviewing books is what we do. But everybody who's stuck around, and and even anybody who came on board for Dragonlance and stuck through the rest of it, and we're back at it. And I think just Dragonlance in the summer, or at least D&D books in the summer, is going to kind of be our thing.
Yeah, I think so.
It's gonna, and we've been talking about where do we go after Legends? But you know what? We'll let you know.
Yeah.
So, that's...
it will be revealed during the Summer of Lance Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, Summer of Lance 2.
2 Electric Boogaloo.
What about the Summer of Lance 3? At any rate, that's where I'm sitting.
Don't reveal it.
Klab.
Don't reveal it.
Where are you sitting at, friend?
Hey, kids.
Oh, God. Every day.
Uncle Klab here. I gotta say, I'm enjoying being back in this universe. Give me time travel anytime. I'm a huge fan of time travel. I'm a huge fan of different types of time travel, whether it's mechanical, whether it's technological, whether it's magic, whether it's what you're doing. I like the idea of time travel, and I like the idea of things that it can do. I've mentioned before that I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. I like this whole explanation of pebbles in a stream. I mean, that follows directly with you have these fixed points that you can't change. You have these other things going on.
Real wibbly wobbly.
Exactly. Timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
And so I'm really liking the time travel aspect here. I'm excited to see where this is going to go. I like the fact that we don't have your typical D&D ranger hero.
Yeah.
That's generally who runs a lot of D&D stories, or that's generally your group leader. I find it weird, and I really like this aspect of
We have an overweight drunk.
This aspect of the Jiminy Cricket Kender.
Yeah.
Who, Taz has really become that Jiminy Cricket character. He is the conscience of the book. He is the conscience of Karaman right now.
Mm-hmm. Good
and leading him and trying to lead him in the correct direction. The Wizard Hightower, I was okay with the little bit of politics that went in there, but I am really enjoying being back in this universe again. There are some things, again, like Bob said, there are some things that I will look at and go, all right, whatever. Stop giving me songs. I don't like the songs. I don't like the poems. Tell me he sang a song about this and have it be there. I don't need 4 pages of the song. That being said, we're going in a very interesting direction here. I'm waiting for, I know in book 2 there's going to have to be a montage. We're going to have like the Rocky montage of Karaman getting back in shape, or maybe he's just going to appear back in shape. However, we're going to get there. But I'm really enjoying being back here, and book 1 has me excited to read book 2. Paul, how are you?
I'm doing good. And you know what? I'm happy to be back in the Dragonlance universe. When I saw we were doing this again over summer, I got excited. It made me really excited to go back into the Dragonlance universe. And maybe it's because it was the first series we did for our podcast. I don't know. But just reading that made me want to continue reading and see what happens in Legends. And this book did not let me down at all. This book makes me want to continue reading on to book 2. I know before we started recording, I was downstairs reading book 2. Well, there were people here. Well, Bob was here recording the synopsis, the wonderful version he did there. So everything that happened in this story, I think, is a better version of Chronicles, especially with the following of a group of people. Instead of 9 people in a large group and you're following them, it's the following of 2 people, 2 or 3, occasionally jumping between another person. Nothing too crazy, so you're not jumping all over the place. It's consistent, and I like that. I'm excited to see what book 2 is going to show me. And you know what, listeners? Tell us what you think.
Hey, yeah, by all means, hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up. I can never remember Valerian. What is the name of the one that you...
Vero.
Yeah.
It's obviously insignificant.
Talk to us. Tell us what you think. If you like what we're saying, if you like the questions we're out there, I'm sure we're going to pump a bunch of questions out on Facebook to our audience about book 1 when we release book 1 here.
Now I have to.
Surprise!
Do you see how I'm putting the wheels in motion?
And we know there are Dragonlance history nerds, so let us know what we screwed up. I mean,
No, don't even open that game.
We
will get tomes of what we screwed up.
Hey, hit us up, but as long as you just agree with us.
Okay, so we are casual fans, so we don't have all the nuance right.
But we should be.
We should be corrected.
We should be corrected.
So by all means,
we will not hide our head in the sand from the truth.
Wow. So by all means, talk to us, interact with us. We'll give you, next time on Tavern Talk, we'll give you a shout out. We'll talk to you if you come up with some good questions or we have a nice conversation online. Usually one of us will be on there talking back to you. right away or as soon as we can get there. And again, thank you folks for listening. Thank you for being out there for 4 guys talking into a mic in a very warm upstairs bedroom.
Incredibly warm.
Yes.
I can't
Incredibly
even.
warm.
For an entire year.
For an entire year.
Yeah.
You guys, we did a year.
One whole year.
One whole year. What was this going to be? Episode 19?
19.
Not counting the bonus episodes.
Bonus.
Yeah.
So keep coming on this journey with us. Tell your friends. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell anybody who you think would be interested in this series. If you're walking around a con somewhere and people talk about Dragonlance, hey, you know what? I got this great podcast I'm listening to. It's called Dungeons and Dweebs.
Right. Yeah. Hey, word of mouth would be really great. Word of mouth, is very because we want a nice, tight, close-knit community of people who can share our likes. So yeah, tell people about us.
On that note, however, it is getting pretty late. I can see all of the moons. Oh wait, did I give something away? Are coming up in the wilderness out there outside the window. So I think
It's
we should.
just a projection the government is throwing onto the particulates in the atmosphere.
Look,
from
I
the
know
chemtrails.
you like last podcast on the left, but it's really
It's
starting.
the chemtrails.
It's really starting to interfere with your, who you are as a person, Bob.
They're not going to keep me from seeing the Buru.
Hey, I tell you what. I'm going to get the last round. I got the first round today. I'll get the last round today. Hey, sweetheart, come over here. We're going to do one more round, and by all
Fireball!
means,
Hey,
bring
fireball!
us some more of that sand cinnamon whiskey, please.
Spicy potatoes for me.
Come over here. I got this card up. It doesn't have the wheels yet. Go.
So I'm not seeing a ring on that finger.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Dungeons & Dweebs. There's even more adventure to be had at our website, dungeonsanddweebs.com. We would love to hear from you. You can email us at dungeonsanddweebspodcast@gmail.com. You can also find Dungeons & Dweebs on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Find all those links at dungeonsanddweebs.com. If you enjoyed the podcast, please help spread the word by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes. The music for Dungeons & Dweebs is Fatal Fight by Royalty Free Kings and can be found at their website, royaltyfreekings.com. Dungeons & Dweebs is a Tim Gilbert media production, copyright 2017, all rights reserved, and no part of the show can be reproduced, repurposed, or redistributed without the written permission of Tim Gilbert Media.
Hi.
Are we coming back in?
Are we back in?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the soft, soothing tones of Klab.
Hey kids, we're back tonight on Loveline. Please feel free to call in with all your questions. We'll give you as much advice as we possibly can.
Yeah, choke me.
Again?
Yeah.
You just woke up.
I love it, okay?